I, who have maxed out my charm points and am as alluring as a succubus, a wife who is hopelessly incompetent and cowardly to the core, a mother-in-law who is so lonely she's going crazy, an overly kind rival female CEO, guide me, and I transmigrated to a matriarchal world where women outnumber men. Here, the treatment of men and women is reversed, because I'm way too good-looking. The wicked women around me have all reached out their evil claws to me one by one. Right now, my girlfriend and I are getting ready to visit my girlfriend's mother. Hello, Auntie. My name is Lu Zhao. I'm Qingqing's boyfriend. My smile was a little forced. My pupils couldn't stop trembling. My heart was pounding so hard that I wondered if other people could hear it too. Yan Ruyu, my girlfriend's mom, didn't even lift her eyelids. She just adjusted the gold-rimmed glasses on her nose and flipped through the menu slowly. My stiff expression made Yan Qingqing think it was caused by her mother's cold attitude. Oh my God, Mom. What's wrong with you? Didn't you agree to meet him? Why are you acting like this now? Yan Qingqing sat down next to her mother and shook her shoulder. The jiggling curves were like ocean waves that kept crashing against my... I know this woman is just like that. At the same time, I also know under that crisp professional suit lies a powerful and incredibly charming, exquisite body. Yan Ruyu smiled helplessly and put down the menu. All right, honey. Let's see what the little guy you keep talking about is like. I swallowed hard and felt my scalp tingle. Hello, Auntie. I was just about to introduce myself again when Yan Ruyu cut me off. Hello, I'm Qingqing's mom. You can call me Aunt Yan. A kind smile appeared on the woman's lips. She really looked like a proper elder, meeting her daughter's boyfriend. Seeing her mother smile, Yan Qingqing was overjoyed. What do you think, Mom? I told you Lu Zhao is great, right? Looks like you're pretty satisfied with him. Also, you should smile more often. You look so beautiful when you smile like this. Is Yan Ruyu beautiful? In my opinion, that's beyond doubt. If I had to describe it in 4 words, it would be breathtakingly stunning. All right, don't just stand there. Take a seat. After getting Yan Ruyu's approval, Yan Qingqing happily pulled me to sit down. She sat between the two of us. The atmosphere at the dining table was very harmonious, even though her mother's attitude was a little different from her usual cold self. But Yan Qingqing, who was wrapped up in joy, didn't notice these small details. But I was a total mess of panic. In the bathroom, I splashed a handful of cold water on my face. The cool touch calmed me down a little. How could this happen? How could this be such a crazy coincidence? My eyes in the mirror were full of disbelief. Ding. The notification sound of a new message on my phone went off. It was a friend request. I haven't seen this profile picture in a year. The verification message only had 2 cold words, less than 10 seconds after I accepted. The other person immediately sent me a voice message that made my heart skip a beat. Is this woman insane? Why is she sending a voice message? Your daughter is right next to me. I hurried into a stall, switched it to earpiece mode, and turned the volume all the way down. I swallowed hard and clicked on that 3-second voice note. You know what I mean? Of course, I knew what she was talking about. The pale light from the phone screen hit my face. My fingers trembled a little as I typed the 4 words Mom Ruyu. Yan Ruyu was the one who made me call her that in the first place. Looking back at what happened later, I can only say this woman is way more perverted than normal. A year ago, right after I finished the college entrance exam, I got accepted to a university in Goose City. But tuition became a problem for me, so I had to rely on my looks. To work at a nightclub called Tianhai, the number of men I saw here was more than I had seen in my entire first 10+ years of life. The gender ratio in this world is seriously imbalanced. It's roughly 1:3. What's more, women are physically much stronger than men, and in some aspects it's completely the opposite. A gorgeous, mature woman with wavy hair and a curvy, well-proportioned figure was almost 1.9 meters tall in heels. I'm considered tall for a man at 1.7 meters, but I still looked like a tiny chick standing in front of her. The woman walked up to me, looked down at my eyes. The corner of her mouth lifted, and she showed a charming smile. She lifted my chin and examined me from side to side. Not bad, I like you. Xiaowei must have told you the rules here, right? He did? Good, that's settled then. We have a special guest today. I need a favor from her. You serve her well, and your tuition won't be a problem. That was the first time I met Yan Ruyu. She was wearing a wrinkle-free, perfectly tailored professional suit, which highlighted her capable aura. Her demeanor was elegant and calm, The thin eyeliner added a touch of charm to her look. Her plump, long legs covered in black stockings felt longer than my entire life to me. Her sharp eyes behind the lenses stared at me as if examining me. Xiaorong could obviously feel, even though the woman in front of her was talking to her, her gaze kept drifting over to this newly hired young man. That made her think to herself that this deal was in the bag. Sister Ruyu, how about we split it 70-30 after this deal goes through? You take 70, I take 30. Yan Ruyu picked up the contract and glanced through it a few times, then put it down. Deal, she said as she picked up the cup on the table and took a sip. What kind of person is Zhao Rong? How could she not see what Yan Ruyu wanted? All right then, Sister Ruyu. I'll head out first. Call me if you need anything. With that, she left and closed the door behind her. But what made my eyelids twitch was that the glass on the back of the door was blocked by a tall woman, so no one could see what was happening inside from outside. What's your name? Lu Chao, come sit here. Yan Ruyu patted the seat next to her. I sat at a distance that was neither too close nor too far. I saw her cup was empty, and immediately poured her another glass of wine. First time coming to a place like this? What a coincidence. Me too, what are you here for? To earn money for my college tuition? It was a very simple conversation. I originally wanted to gain her sympathy, but after Yan Ruyu heard that, she seemed like a completely different person. The way she looked at me also started to feel off. That was the first time I made eye contact with this woman. That gaze was like she was looking at her prey, filled with joy and excitement. Yan Ruyu's mature, beautiful face slowly leaned closer to me, a cold smile on her lips. You'd come to a place like this just for tuition? Doesn't your mom care about you? I'm an orphan. After hearing that, Yan Ruyu was visibly stunned for a moment. I see. So that's how it is. Watching her mumble to herself, I thought she was feeling sympathetic, but I never expected... Mac. The sound of skin hitting skin echoed in the private room. I was lying across Yan Ruyu's firm thighs, struggling non-stop, but I couldn't move at all. Both of my hands were pinned behind my back by Yan Ruyu with one hand, and a black silk fabric was stuffed into my mouth. Yan Ruyu's slightly annoyed voice rang out next to my ear. Naughty kids deserve to be punished. Do you even know what this place is? And you still dare to come here to make money? Another loud slap landed hard on my back. I couldn't figure it out. Which sentence had triggered this woman's nerves? All I felt right now was a burning, stinging pain. But this woman had no intention of stopping at all. Several more slaps followed. I stopped struggling, mostly because I had no strength left. This body was unexpectedly weak. Yan Ruyu's chest rose and fell heavily. She gasped and said she had worked a lot of overtime today. She flipped me over and pulled me into her arms, gently wiping the tears off my face. It wasn't out of shyness. The pain really made me cry. Does it hurt? I'm sorry. Mommy was too rough with you. Come home with Mommy. Mommy will love you properly. I looked at her distraught face. She was nothing like the poised and elegant woman she was just moments ago. If you don't say anything, I'll take that as a yes. Such a good boy. How dare you? At least take the stuff out of my mouth before you ask me that, coward. I fought the urge to roll my eyes at her. I thought to myself, what happened next was exactly as I expected. In a way, that love she talked about was real. That is, if I was into weird kinks, including but not limited to late-night public restrooms, wooded areas in the park on rainy days, empty rooftop of office buildings. The riskiest time was in a fitting room at the mall. To stop me from making any noise, she stuffed another small wad into my mouth, a slightly damp piece of fabric. My mouth tasted weird the whole day. I couldn't eat anything at all. All that sacrifice naturally paid off. At the end of that month, Yan Ruyu transferred 200,000 yuan to me. Zhao Rong was also very happy that his business deal went through, and gave me 100,000 yuan. I was in a really good mood that day. The balance on my phone screen made me feel extremely secure. Even the scorching sun didn't feel that harsh anymore. Right now, I stared down at the words Mommy Ruyu on the screen, and let out a long sigh. Why does Ching Ching have to be her daughter? Knock, knock, knock. The sudden knock on the door made me tense up instantly. I lowered my voice. Someone's in here. Earlier that day, on the other side, who is it? Yan Qingqing, who had no clue what was going on, was still shoveling food into her mouth. When she saw her mom texting someone, she asked casually. A meaningful smile played on Yan Ruyu's lips. No one, just a disobedient little boy. Of course, Yan Qingqing couldn't just ignore that as her daughter. She widened her eyes and asked curiously, "That's not no one." "Mom, are you planning to get me a stepdad?" She knew her mother too well. Normally, Yan Ruyu was cold to everyone, no matter who they were. She barely even smiled at her and her little sister. Yan Ruyu put down her phone and looked at her daughter with a half smile. "What? You want to experience having a father?" Yan Qingqing pouted. "No, I've gotten used to not having one all these years anyway. But if you really want to find someone, at least let my sister and I meet him first, right? We'll be living together after all." That makes sense. I'll let you two meet him when the time is right." Great. Yan Qingqing was genuinely happy for her mom. She originally wanted to be just like her mom, not getting caught up in romantic relationships. Until she met me. She didn't know why. Maybe it was love at first sight. Either way, the first time she saw me, she was drawn to this gentle, sunny man. Then with the help of her chaotic roommate advisors, she successfully won me over. Yan Ruyu wiped her mouth, took out a mirror and touched up her lipstick. "Take your time eating. I'm heading out first. I have a meeting this afternoon." "Bye, Mom." Yan Qingqing didn't notice when her mom left, the eerie, twisted smile on her lips that she had never seen before. The sound of high heels clicking on the tile floor faded away. I finally breathed a sigh of relief. I was really scared of Yan Ruyu. That crazy woman always wanted to try some new risky nonsense. Ding! It was a message from Yan Qingqing. "Babe, what's taking you so long? If you don't come out soon, I'll finish all the food." "This little foodie." I shook my head, amused. I texted my girlfriend back and found out her mom had already left. I turned off my phone and got ready to leave. Since that woman was gone, there was no need to hide anymore. Should I break up with Qingqing? I really liked her after all. The second I opened the stall door, I froze on the spot. My gaze slowly drifted upward. Familiar high heels, familiar black stockings, familiar business suit. And then, that beautiful face so familiar it would wake me up from nightmares. Why would you break up with Qingqing? Is it because of me? A creepy smile spread across Yan Ruyu's face. An unnatural flush rose on her fair cheeks. Or maybe you don't want to call me auntie. You want to call me mommy. I knew this woman was a total psycho. I tried to close the door, but Yan Ruyu had already stuck her foot in to block it. I never won when it came to strength contest with her. That was a conclusion I'd drawn after countless fights. With a loud bang, the stall door was slammed shut. My hands were pinned against the wall above my head. "What do you want?" "Qingqing is your daughter! How can you do this to her?" The already cramped space, combined with the midsummer heat, the unusually strong perfume on Yan Ruyu, mixed with a faint smell of sweat, hit my nose directly. It made my head feel all foggy for a second. Yan Ruyu didn't answer. She leaned down, her bright red lips close to my ear, and parted slightly. "Do you think it's appropriate to bring up Qingqing right now? Besides, you were the one who hit on me first." I couldn't really deny that. This wasn't our first time getting close. Yan Ruyu knew every inch of my body like the back of her hand. Trapped and unable to move, I felt a burning heat spread through my body that I couldn't ignore. My heart was pounding so hard it felt like it would jump out of my chest. Yes, that's the look. That look even when you're already falling, but you still refuse to admit defeat. Yan Ruyu had met a lot of men, but they were all basically the same. They only wanted to flatter and suck up to her. It was so boring, but I was different. The first time she met this little guy, she saw something completely different in my eyes. There was admiration, curiosity, and even a tiny bit of desire to conquer her. That he probably didn't even notice himself. Is that even possible? A man like you actually has that kind of thought? Then let's try it, and see who ends up under whose foot. Maybe people would think she was overreacting if she said it out loud. That she was just making it up. But when a splash of unexpected color suddenly appears, in your boring life, it made Yan Ruyu ecstatic. The true nature she had suppressed for so long was unleashed completely on me without any restraint. By the time she regretted it and wanted to fix things, she realized she was already addicted. Addicted to this game, addicted to my resistance, addicted to everything about this little man. She pulled her hand away and held it up in front of my face. Her soft, seductive whisper reached my ears. "You're still the same as before. Nothing has changed at all." Dazed, I tried my best to glare at her. But after hearing what she said, I couldn't help but ask myself, nothing changed? No, everything has changed. It was changed by this hateful woman right in front of me. Ding dong! The sudden sound made both of them jolt in shock. I was just about to open my mouth to speak, only to have my words blocked by a pair of red lips coming straight at me. Yan Ruyu, who was annoyed at being interrupted, took out my phone without even checking who the message was from. She turned off the phone and put it on the shelf beside her. After a long while, Yan Ruyu let go of me, who was already struggling to catch my breath. She took off her gold-rimmed glasses. "Little Lu Jiao, do you remember our favorite game?" An untimely knock, knock, knock sounded at the door. And there was also a voice that made both of their hearts tighten at the same time. "Babe, are you in there? Is your stomach really upset? Do you want to go to the hospital for a checkup?" Yan Kingston's concerned voice reached the ears of the two who were lost in each other. This sudden unexpected situation made me hold Yan Ruyu tightly. I held back from making even the slightest sound. Once I came back to my senses, I glared at Yan Ruyu. I took the stocking out of my mouth and threw it aside. I tried to push her away, but even in this kind of situation right now, the woman only stopped her movements. She looked at me with a playful smirk on her face, as if she wanted to see how I would fool the silly girl outside, who knew nothing at all. I was just about to push her, but I was immediately restrained again. My hands were pinned above my head. Yan Ruyu leaned close to my ear and said something that left me completely unbelievable. "Either you send Qingxin away, or let her find out about this. Let her hate me. Choose. What the relationship between my daughter and I will become depends entirely on your choice." Facing these words that sounded like a devil's whisper, I fell into a deep dilemma for a moment. Yan Qingxin and I have been together for a year already. Honestly, I really like this somewhat clumsy girl who always loves to act tough. The experience of having lived two lives makes me treat Yan Qingxin with the mindset of taking care of a rebellious little sister. On this point, she has protested more than once. "I am the woman. You are the man. You should just stay behind me honestly, and let me protect you." Got it? Every time this happened, I would just smile and say, "Sure. Then I'll be counting on you entirely." Then, as expected, she would always mess things up and wait for me to clean up the mess. I thought days like this would go on forever. Who would have thought it would all be ruined by this woman in front of me? "I'm fine, you go back first. I'll come out in a minute." My voice sounded no different from usual, which let Yan Qingxin relax a little. But when she turned around to leave, she seemed to spot something on the sink. The sound of footsteps gradually faded away. Yan Ruyu cupped my face and kissed me hard. "I knew it, little Lu Jiao. You don't have the heart to see Qingxin hate me." But what responded to her wasn't the passionate hug like just now, but my cold eyes filled with deep disgust. The moment she met that gaze, Yan Ruyu felt like her heart skipped a beat. "Get up!" There was no emotion in my voice at all. Yan Ruyu's voice had a slight tremble. She couldn't understand what had happened all of a sudden. "I said get up! What do you take Qingxin for?" "You really make me sick." After all, I knew I couldn't beat her in strength, so I had no intention of fighting back anymore. I just stared at her coldly. The romantic atmosphere between the two vanished instantly. All that was left was stiff awkwardness. A self-deprecating smile appeared on the corner of my mouth. "Why aren't you getting up?" "Fine then, keep going. Do whatever you want. I can't resist you anyway, right?" After saying that, I relaxed my whole body, closed my eyes, looking like a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. A sudden feeling rose in Yan Ruyu's heart, a sense of fear that she was about to lose something. She has been extremely outstanding since she was a child. She can do anything. She can get anything, as long as she wants it. But now she suddenly felt this young man she likes so much in front of her. If she keeps being forceful like this, she might really lose him. This out-of-control feeling made her panic, made her want to avoid it, made her want to run away. Yan Ruyu stood up silently. Pop. It still made both of their hearts skip a beat at the same time. In the past, Yan Ruyu would always look at me with a wicked smile, but this time there was only embarrassment on her face. She had no mood to clean up. Hurriedly grabbed the glasses next to her, opened the door and left quickly as if running away. I reached out and quickly closed the door, locking it properly. I let out a long breath. Thank God, that woman has at least a little conscience. If she really didn't care about anything, I really wouldn't know what to do. I shook my head with a bitter smile. I really want to ask you viewers right now, faced with this kind of situation, what would you do? I pulled out a tissue next to me and wiped it off. After making sure no traces were left, I was just about to go out when I saw something Yan Ruyu left by my feet. Even though my heart was full of disgust, I still picked it up. I love Yan Qingxin even now. I didn't hate Yan Ruyu before either. But this woman's vicious personality is way worse than I imagined. It makes me completely at a loss. Just the thought of having to face her every day in the future makes me sigh again unavoidably. Of course I can't tell Yan Qingjin about this. Looks like I need to find a chance to have a proper talk with Yan Ruyu. If we can't reach an agreement, then I can only break up. Are you feeling better in the private room? Let's go to the hospital for a checkup, Yan Tingson asked with a concerned look on her face. Feeling my girlfriend's sincere care, the guilt in my heart deepened a little more. No need, I'll just buy some medicine later. Okay then, but don't force yourself to tough it out. If something's wrong, you have to tell me. Got it? Yan Qingxin and Yan Ruyu's appearances only have about 30% similarity. Otherwise, I would have suspected something long ago. Looking at her watery big eyes, I pinched her little cheek. Got it, Yan Qingxin didn't dodge. She just frowned slightly and looked at me. Sometimes I really feel like you're the woman here. Maybe. This comment still sounds a little weird to me even now. And just then, Yan Qingxin suddenly wiggled her nose. You smell so good. And this scent is so familiar. I felt like all my hair was standing on end. Impossible, absolutely impossible. I carefully covered it up with the bathroom air freshener. Oh right, it's the air freshener, isn't it? Looking at Yan Qingxin looking all smug like she'd figured out the truth. My heart was like on a roller coaster. Yep, you have a really good nose. Hehe, of course I do. Probably because her mom wasn't around. Yan Tingxin was a lot more lively. She was talking way more than usual. After finishing the meal, the two of us first went to the pharmacy to buy some medicine. You have to follow through with the whole act after all. Yan Tingxin walked me to my place. After I started college, I rented an apartment off campus. Do you want to come up and sit for a while? My mom just texted me to go home just now. I'll come see you tomorrow. She wanted to go up too, but she couldn't disobey her mom's order. Watching Yan Qingxin's receding back, my gaze turned a little gloomy. What does that woman want to tell Qingxin? Full of worries, I was dumbfounded the moment I got to the third floor. What's going on? Is she trying to scam me? There's a woman lying right outside my apartment door. She's wearing black strappy high-heel sandals on her feet. Her snow-white thighs are exposed under her denim shorts. She's wearing a thin white off-shoulder short-sleeve top on her upper body because they were lying face down. I couldn't see their face. Long, messy hair was draped over one side. For a split second, I thought about calling the police, but right then I caught a whiff of alcohol. Then all of a sudden, I remembered what the landlord told me a while back. The new drunk who moved in across from you seems to be a teacher. If he gets wasted and knocks on your door, don't open it no matter what. I sniffed to clear the alcohol fumes from my nose. Wasted this bad. And they're supposed to be a role model for students. Figuring a close neighbor is better than a distant relative, I decided to give this neighbor a break. Yubaiwei woke up to the smell of cooking. She was about to get up instinctively. When she realized her hands and feet were tied, then she lost her balance, fell straight onto the floor. With a loud thud, hearing the noise from the living room, I rushed out of the kitchen, still holding a spatula in my hand, wearing an apron, looking exactly like a housewife. What's going on? Are you trying to cause trouble? She hadn't fully sobered up yet, still groggy as it was. That fall knocked Yubaiwei even more senseless. She rolled over blankly, her nose red from the fall, looking at me with teary eyes. Who are you? What are you doing in my house? I laughed at her words. I said, Sis, look again carefully. Is this your house? Yubaiwei sniffed, looked around. Only then did she notice that the furniture and decor looked nothing like her place at all, but she didn't panic either. There was only a short guy in an apron in front of her, holding a spatula. What could he possibly do to her? Come to think of it. This guy is really cute. Is my romance finally starting? Yubaiwei, who has been a hardcore homebody for years, started daydreaming. She pushed herself up, leaned against the sofa behind her, tried to look as harmless as possible. Hey, little guy, can you untie me, please? I promise I won't do anything, okay? I just looked at her and sneered. Any guy who believes that line has probably already been taken advantage of completely. Yubaiwei's face fell. She had no idea how to convince me. After all, she had actually seen news stories like that. The men who were rescued in those reports were all abused beyond recognition. Suddenly she remembered something. Her eyes lit up. Oh right, little guy. Listen to me. I'm a teacher. I have a teaching certificate. You can even look up my teaching credentials online. I blinked. Did this woman finally remember? The landlord did mention that, but looking at how this lady is acting, I seriously doubt it. All right, where is it? In my right back pocket. Yubaiwe rolled over, upper body lying on the sofa. The movement was too big. Her off-shoulder t-shirt rode up a lot, exposing her fair, smooth back. Looking at her in that position, my eyelids kept twitching. My stupid heart started beating a little faster. Yubaiwe is very pretty, a typical delicate southern girl. She looks both gentle and smart. I'm not a man. Wait, no, I'm not a man in this world. So seeing this scene, I can't help feeling a little instinctually flustered. I exhaled softly, walked over quickly, took the teaching certificate out of her back pocket. She rolled over again, leaned against the sofa. Yubaiwe carefully sized up this neighbor. She was fully sober by now. Her last memory was being at her own front door. Then everything went blank. Looking at the layout of the place, it's a mirror image of her own apartment. So she must have gotten drunk and walked into the wrong door. Collapsed in front of my door, he didn't have the heart to leave her lying there, but was scared she'd do something to him when she woke up. So he tied her up. As for why he didn't call the police, he probably knows who she is. The landlord must have told him about me. After figuring out the general course of events, she came to a conclusion. He's a kind and smart guy. The corner of Yubaiwe's mouth twitched up involuntarily. Who doesn't like those qualities? And he's this handsome on top of it. She sniffed again, then frowned slightly. It's burnt. I quickly stuffed my phone and the teaching certificate into my pocket, headed for the kitchen. Ha ha ha, Yubaiwe saw how flustered I was, and couldn't hold back a laugh. After a little while, I came out looking pretty upset, holding a kitchen knife in my hand. No offense. Come on, little guy, is that really necessary? It's just burnt food, right? You don't have to do something illegal over it. Deduction is just deduction after all. She didn't actually know me. For all she knew, this pretty boy was the legendary psycho who lures women home, then kills and dismembers them. Yubaiwe, who was trying to crawl away, swore to herself over and over again she would never drink again. But before she could crawl a few steps, I grabbed her ankle. She screamed in fright. Then my annoyed, exasperated voice rang out. What are you screaming for? The knot is way too tight. How am I supposed to untie it without a knife, even after she was free? Yubaiwe was still in a daze. Fair enough. This kind of experience is pretty wild. For an ordinary person living in a lawful society, let's just say she has a pretty strong mind for not bursting into tears. I turned around and went back to the kitchen. Brought out a bowl of soup. Drink this whole bowl of hangover soup. Then you can leave. I looked it up in the kitchen just now. You actually are a teacher. You have a valid certificate. Yubaiwe was still a little scared when she stood up, but she didn't want to lose face in front of me. So she forced herself to look calm. It's fine. I'm already sober, little guy. I don't need to drink that. I smiled brightly. Drink it. I made it just for you. Don't waste food. For some reason, even though I was smiling, Baiwei felt I was giving off a really strong, intimidating vibe. Like if she didn't drink it, something really terrible would happen. A little sour, a little spicy, and a little sweet flavor burst in her mouth. To put it simply, it was delicious. The sound of her gulping down the soup echoed. She finished the whole bowl of hangover soup in no time. Burp. She burped loudly without caring about how she looked. Haha, she seemed a little embarrassed. She laughed awkwardly. I pushed the teaching certificate over to her. All right, you can leave now. We're neighbors from now on. Drink less. If you pass out at my door again, I'm calling the police immediately. Yubaiwe put away her teaching certificate. She wasn't sure if I'd actually do that, but she had one little question right now. Wait, this hangover soup doesn't taste burnt. What was burnt then? I rested my chin on my hand and curled my lip. It was my dinner. But that's none of your business. Ah-chung. Yubaiwe stared at the empty bowl on the table. No wonder it's not hot. Turns out I cooked it ages ago. It's been kept warm this whole time. All because of her. So now I have to eat burnt food? Wait, no, Yubaiwe said, looking a little embarrassed. You bought me this drink. Let me treat you to a meal, as compensation for you. What do you say? Thanks, by the way. No thanks, I have a girlfriend. It'd be bad if someone gets the wrong idea. Yubaiwe left my apartment feeling slightly disappointed. It wasn't the rejection that upset her. It was that such an excellent guy already had a girlfriend, and that girlfriend wasn't her. She unlocked the door and went back to her place. She pulled the teacher ID out of her pocket. subconsciously held it up to her nose and sniffed, as if it still carried the scent of the apartment across the hall, inside a luxury apartment in Goose City. This is the property Yan Ruyu bought. She often travels between two cities for work. That's why she purchased this apartment. It's also convenient for her daughter to live here. She never expected her daughter's boyfriend would be him of all people. Yan Ruyu was shocked and flustered at that moment. She couldn't believe such a coincidence could exist. After that, 1 month ended back then. Yan Ruyu also considered continuing the relationship with me. But when she tried to send me a message, she found out she had been deleted. This was something Yan Ruyu could not tolerate. She was always the one who rejected others. No one had ever dared to treat her like this. Her pride wouldn't allow it. Humble herself for that young guy she had a casual fling with, and pester him endlessly, so she never asked Zhao Rong about my whereabouts. When she found out I was her daughter's boyfriend, she admitted she really panicked. So much so that, when her daughter suggested the two of them meet, Yan Ruyu's first instinct was to refuse, but she agreed in the end. Deep in her heart, she did have a tiny desire to see me again. Before the meeting, she had everything planned perfectly. Act like a proper elder, get to know me properly, get along harmoniously. She figured I wasn't that unreasonable. I would probably play along with her, just as she expected. I cooperated very well. Even she started to wonder if what happened before was just some kind of illusion. But it was exactly this cooperation that triggered her rebellious mentality. Why do you get to act so calm? Why do you get to act like nothing ever happened? Why am I the only one overthinking everything here? Then all the panic I felt earlier. Makes me look like a total clown, doesn't it? What happened after that was out of her control. Especially when she saw that familiar face leaning against her. That familiar body so close to hers. A pleasure she had never experienced before. Made her blurt out those words. Terrible words that could possibly cause a rift between her and her daughter. Luckily, though, I was sober. I stopped her in time with an extremely cold attitude. Yan Ruyu was caught in an internal conflict. On one hand, she craved the excitement and satisfaction when she was with me. On the other hand, her conscience was fiercely condemning her. She knew she shouldn't be doing this. This wasn't just risking her reputation. Worse still, her daughter might cut off all ties with her. Yan Ruyu casually twisted her wet long hair up. She was only wearing a thin silk nightgown. Walked into the room, took a bottle of red wine from the wine rack. The dark red liquid was slowly poured into the wine glass. The swaying liquid was just like her restless heart at that moment. Click. Yan Qingxin, who had just entered the door, saw her mother like this. A concerned expression appeared on her face. "Mom, are you okay? Is something upsetting you?" Looking at her daughter squatting beside her with a concerned face. Yan Ruyu's lips parted slightly. "Mom is fine. Just a little tired, that's all." She wanted to reach out and touch her daughter's head, but her hand paused halfway, then slowly retracted. "Qingxin is all grown up now. You probably don't like Mom touching your head anymore, right?" Yan Ruyu forced a smile. She had no idea what her expression looked like right now. She bet the smile looked really ugly. But unexpectedly, her half-retracted hand was grabbed by Yan Qingxin, then placed on her own head. "That's not true at all. You're my mom. No matter when, you can touch my head whenever you want."
Yan Qingxin's genuine smile
Was more like a sharp sword, stabbed hard into Yan Ruyu's heart, gently brushing her daughter's soft hair. Yan Ruyu tried her best not to show her emotions. "All right, stand up. Why are you still acting like a little kid?" Yan Qingxin's eyes widened, stared at her mom, who suddenly acted so aloof. Her expression clearly said, "How could you even say that?"
Yan Ruyu laughed when she saw her daughter's expression.
Her mood calmed down a little. All right. My Qingxin is the best. Happy now?" Yan Qingxin went back to her room, changed into a set of loungewear and came out. Sat across from her mother. "Mom, why did you ask me to come back? Did I interrupt your little date with Lu?" Yan Qingxin didn't notice the faint bitterness in her mother's eyes. Lowered her head shyly. "No, stop talking nonsense, Mom. Lu and I have a totally innocent relationship." Yan Ruyu was far too sharp to miss the signs. Her eyes were sparkling with affection. Her cheeks were flushed. It was obvious she had been with her boyfriend, but the thought of that made her heart ache again. What a terrible mess this is. "I called you back because I need you to come with me to an event. Tomorrow night there's a gathering for entrepreneurs in Goose City. Your mom is one of the invited representatives. As my daughter, you need to attend with me. Yan Kingson didn't understand why she had to go. Yan Ryu's face turned unpleasant as she said this. Because that woman will also attend with her daughter. And announced the heir. Yan Kingson's cheek twitched. Aunt Lin? Yan Qingxin sighed inwardly. But the mention of the heir gave her an idea. Her eyes rolled slightly. She said, hey, Mom, can I discuss something with you? Can I bring Lu Zhao with me too? If the three of us go together, we'll definitely stand out more than Aunt Lin.
Don't you think?
The next day I arrived 2 hours early. At a coffee shop near the agreed mall, I took 2 deep breaths. Honestly, I didn't want to be with Yan Ryu in an enclosed space together. But to avoid being seen by someone by accident, I still chose this place. Pushed the door open. The woman inside looked over in surprise when I saw her outfit today, even though I hated to admit it. My heart started racing uncontrollably. A tight white slip dress accentuated every curve of her body. Alluring but not tacky. She wasn't wearing the black stockings I was so used to seeing her in. Instead, she was wearing a pair of white high-heeled sandals with bare feet. Come on, that's way too much. This woman, where did she learn this from? Dressing like an innocent first love and all? The amazement in my eyes made Yan Ryu feel very satisfied. It was worth it after she carefully analyzed their relationship and stayed up half the night looking up tips online. What are you standing there staring for? Come in. Yan Ryu had a faint smile on her lips. This was another tip she found online. Don't act too domineering. Interact with the other person gently, so we don't scare people off. I sat down across from her. I didn't say a word. It's just that I was caught off guard and still figuring out how to bring that up. We both opened our mouths at the same time and shut them at the same time, too. There was a smile in Yan Ryu's eyes. This inexplicable tacit understanding made her a little happy. I, on the other hand, felt a wave of unprovoked irritation. I picked up my coffee and took a sip. Aunt Yan. Go ahead. That address made her pupils flinch slightly. She hated this form of address. But if it came from me, she would accept it. Kingston called me yesterday. She said she'd help me pick out a suit today. Do you know what this is about? Oh, this? Yan Ryu also picked up her coffee and blew on it, then took a small sip. There's a gathering for entrepreneurs in Goose City tonight. Kingston has to attend. She suggested bringing you along too. Said we'd go as a family of 3. I frowned slightly. You agreed? Why wouldn't I? Why should I go? That doesn't seem right, does it? I'm still just a college student. I don't like being in the public eye like this. Maybe Qingxin just wants everyone to know that you're her boyfriend, so no one else hits on you. Yan Ryu rubbed the handle of her cup with her thumb. There was a faint bitterness in her tone. I froze for a second. That's actually pretty likely. That's exactly the kind of thing Yan Qingxin would do. Bold but careless. Qingxin hasn't figured anything out, right? That's the main thing I wanted to talk to her about when I asked her out. Some things need to be put clearly on the table and laid out completely, no room for ambiguity. If you hesitate to make a decision when you should, you'll only suffer for it later. No, that kid's always been pretty careless. Yan Ryu kept her head down. Her face was covered by her hair. I couldn't see her current expression, but I could still hear the depression in her voice. Aunt Yan. I suddenly grabbed Yan Ryu's hand that was resting on the table. Yan Ryu lifted her head. She looked into my eyes, as if she realized what I was about to say. Her eyes were full of panic and plea as she shook her head. She wanted me to not say it. She always used to be stronger than me, but this time, she couldn't pull her hand out of my grip no matter how hard she tried. No, please, I'm begging you. Her begging murmur made my heart ache sharply over and over, but I couldn't soften my heart. I had to settle this once and for all this time. I took a deep breath, and word by word, I said the words that would break Yan Ryu's heart. Aunt Yan, for your sake, and for Qingxin's sake too, from now on, you're her mother, and I'm her boyfriend. We're just ordinary elders and juniors, okay? I held tightly to the hand that had pinned me down so many times before. Yan Ryu's beautiful eyes were filled with tears. She kept shaking her head, unable to say yes, and unable to say no either. She had thought about this outcome countless times last night, but when it was actually happening right in front of her, she still couldn't accept it. She couldn't say a word. I let go of her hand. Yan Ryu tried to grab it back, but I dodged her. Without a single trace of hesitation, I left quickly. The moment I closed the private room door, a faint sob came from inside. The soundproofing of these private rooms is really good, So the fact that I could hear that faint sound from outside means you can imagine how loud she was actually crying. When I got outside, the sun was already high in the sky. The scorching sunlight made it clear it was the middle of summer. I tugged the brim of my cap down a little and wiped my eyes. The sun is so harsh today. Babe, what's wrong with you? Yan Qingxin waved her hand in front of my face. She noticed I was a little off today, like I had something on my mind. I stared at her eyes, which bore a 30% resemblance to Yan Ruyu's, and smiled. I pinched her cheek. Nothing, I just didn't sleep well last night. I'm a little sleepy. Yan Qingxin didn't suspect anything. She just pinched my cheek right back. You pinched me. So I'm pinching you back. We messed around and teased each other for a while, until I looked like I was back to normal. Yan Qingxin dragged me off to start our shopping trip. We were clearly supposed to be buying clothes for me, but I couldn't feel any joy at all. I was just exhausted, physically and mentally. Before we knew it, Yan Qingxin was carrying 3 bags, and I was carrying 2. We walked out of the store, and the corner of my mouth twitched. These 5 sets of clothes cost almost 50,000 yuan. That's a sixth of the money I worked so hard to earn. It was time for lunch, so we found a restaurant to eat at. Let's drop the stuff off at your place first later, then go to my place, okay? Yan Qingxin cut off a piece of steak from her plate and put it in her mouth. Sure. Is Aunt Yan home? I lowered my eyes, so she wouldn't see the wavering in my gaze. I don't think so. She left really early this morning. Also, I think my mom's seeing someone. My hand trembled so slightly it was almost unnoticeable. How come? Yan Qingxin asked mysteriously. Yesterday, my mom was chatting with someone on her phone. I don't know who. I asked her who it was, and she said it was a disobedient little man. My Adam's apple bobbed involuntarily. And then she woke up super early today. Spent ages doing her makeup and picking out clothes. If we went out together looking like that, people would believe she's my younger sister. Yan Qingxin finished the last bite of her steak. Why do you look like you're not curious at all? This isn't something I should be curious about. I paused for a second. It's none of my business anyway, right? Yan Qingxin completely understood my reaction. Fair enough, but I still need to look into it. What if some guy is tricking my mom for her money, right? Plus, she specifically added the word little, so he's probably pretty young. On the way back, I brought up that it might not be a good idea to take me to the banquet. I know it looks like I'm backing out now that we've bought the clothes, but the whole thing with Yan Ruyu had hit me way too hard. Plus, Yan Qingxin had been dragging me all over the place, so I forgot to bring it up earlier. Yan Qingxin didn't suspect I had any other motives. Instead, she pulled me into her arms and answered my question with a long kiss. I want everyone who knows me to know that you're my boyfriend. I'm gonna marry you someday. The first half of her words really caught me off guard, but I couldn't help laughing at the second half. We went upstairs to her place, and as soon as we walked through the door, Yan Qingxin carried me straight to the bedroom, looking at the look in her eyes that made it seem like she was gonna eat me whole. I knew exactly what my girlfriend wanted to do. About 10 minutes later, Yan Qingxin lifted her head, puffing out her cheeks. I was just about to get up and get her a trash can, only to see that she had already swallowed. I looked at her, her face flushed and warm, and I zoned out for a second. Yan Qingxin licked the corner of her mouth, her eyes full of desire. It's okay, babe. I love everything about you, every last part. Yeah. In this world where men and women have reversed strength dynamics, certain physical abilities are reversed too. When I was with Yan Ruyu, we would often stay up all night. And even after waking up the next day, we'd jump right back into high-intensity activity. Just then, there was a sudden knock on the door. The two of them exchanged a glance. I, your friend, shook my head. I couldn't think of who would be knocking at my door. I'll go check you. Just lie down for a little longer. I looked through the peephole to see who was outside. Who is that? Why is she here? I opened the door and asked. Ms. Yu, what can I do for you? Yu Baiwei was just about to say something, when she noticed how the man in front of her looked right now. He looked incredibly sexy. His hair was slightly damp. His handsome cheeks were flushed. He was breathing slightly faster than usual. Wait, don't tell me he was just... Yu Baiwei pictured that scene in her head. Her face couldn't help but flush bright red. Her flustered, stammering look confused me a lot. I had no idea what she was here for, but keeping her standing at the door the whole time seemed a bit rude. Why don't you come in? Wait, is he inviting me inside? Is my time for romance finally here? Wait, no, doesn't he have a girlfriend? Did they break up? Otherwise, why would he be pleasing himself just now? He's so handsome, and he cooks great too. I wouldn't exactly say no to that. The homebody girl's fantasy moment. In the time it took me just to turn around, I had no idea. She was already imagining when we'd get married. As for why I let her in so easily, of course it was because Yan Qingxin was here. So there was no issue with safety. And also, instead of hiding things, it's better to be upfront and tell Yan Qingxin that the neighbor was here to see me for something. I'll just be honest with her. Tell her to wait a second first. I'll go back to the bedroom. Yubaiwei sat up straight on the sofa, looking very formal. If I said I wasn't nervous, that'd be a total lie. I've barely interacted with any men growing up, and when I thought about the favor I wanted to ask him, I felt even more embarrassed. After a little while, the bedroom door opened. Yubaiwei was just about to speak. When she saw a woman walk out from inside, she immediately shut her mouth again. Aunt Yu? She walked quickly over to Yubaiwei and looked her over carefully to make sure she hadn't misrecognized her. It's really you. Aunt Yu, it's been so long since we last saw each other, right? Yan Qingxin sat down next to the totally confused Yubaiwei, looking at her confused expression. She added, It's me, Yan Qingxin. Yubaiwei froze for a second, then it clicked for her. Oh, it's Qingxin! It really has been such a long time, even though they seem to know each other. And this was an unexpected meeting. I noticed my neighbor's expression looked a bit off. Of course, there was the joy of reuniting after a long time apart. But at the same time, she looked very flustered. Like she hadn't expected this. Or rather, didn't want to see Yan Qingxin at all. The careless Yan Qingxin obviously didn't notice any of this. She was still as enthusiastic as ever. Aunt Yu, don't you remember me? You even held me when I was little. You always snuck me snacks behind my mom's back too. Yeah, I didn't expect you still remembered that. Of course, how could I forget that? Faced with the enthusiastic Qingxin, Yubaiwei couldn't help but glance at me, silently asking for help. Hey, Qing, aren't you going to introduce me? Oh right, look how forgetful I am. Yan Qingxin stood up and walked over to my side. She held my hand. Aunt Yu, this is my boyfriend, Lu Xiao. As soon as I said that, from where I was sitting, the neighbor across from me looked suddenly extremely disappointed, but she hid that expression immediately. Yubaiwei stood up. She said to Qingxin, I really didn't expect to see you here. It's actually nothing important. I just moved here. I came over to say hello. All right, I won't disturb you two lovebirds anymore. My eyebrows raised at that comment. Luckily, this was Qingxin I was with. Otherwise, no one would have believed that excuse. Oh, don't go yet, Aunt Yu. Stay a little longer, won't you? I haven't seen you in ages. As she said that, she was about to go over and hold Yubaiwei back from leaving. But I knew what was going on, so of course I wouldn't make her feel awkward. Qingxin, don't you remember we have things to do later? We can get together another time. Yubaiwei gave me a grateful look. That's right, Qingxin, now you know. I live here now, we can hang out when we have time. I really won't disturb you two anymore. Oh, okay then. Yan Qingxin's face was full of disappointment. I could tell. My foodie girlfriend really liked this aunt of hers. But why? Did this woman seem so unwilling to see Yan Qingxin? Looks like I need to find a time to ask what's going on. After all, this concerns my girlfriend. I need to get to the bottom of this. After Yubaiwei left, we both sat on the sofa. I asked her about Yubaiwei. It turns out, Yan Ruyu's family and Yubaiwei's family used to be very close. The age gap between the two of them wasn't that big either. So they spent a lot of time together when they were little. They were still close until Yan Qingxin started primary school. Then later, probably because Yan Ruyu was too busy with work, and Yan Qingxin went to a different school. They gradually stopped seeing each other much. I really didn't expect to see Aunt Yu here. She was really nice to me back then. Mom always wouldn't let me eat snacks. She would secretly buy them for me. Even though it's a very small, ordinary thing, I had a different take on it. From what I know of Yan Ruyu, that woman who has an extremely strong desire for control, would she ever allow someone to go against her wishes? Yubaiwei must know what Yan Ruyu is like, but she still snuck snacks to Yan Qingxin behind her back. That means she really liked Yan Qingxin. Maybe that's not the case. She didn't seem that enthusiastic just now, did she? There must be another reason behind this. I patted my girlfriend's head. You silly girl. Your mom was right about you. You really are so careless. Why are you patting my head again? Do you want something again? I laughed and didn't say anything. We didn't go for another round. After we took a steamy bath together, we headed straight to Yan Qingxin's house. Mom, I'm home. Are you here? I haven't been here many times. I've never gone into Yan Ruyu's room. And usually when Yan Ruyu is staying here, Yan Kingson won't bring me over. Looking at the pair of white sandals in the shoe cabinet, I knew Yan Ruyu was probably home. Yan Kingson walked towards Yan Ruyu's room. As she called out, "Mom, Lu Zhao is here. When are we leaving?" As soon as those words left her mouth, we heard from the previously quiet room a dull thud, followed by the sound of the door being locked. Yan Kingson stood at the door. Confused, she said, "Mom, what are you doing in there? Why did you lock the door?" After a little while, a low, hoarse voice came from inside. "Mom is fine. I'm changing clothes." "You silly kid, Lu Zhao is here. Why didn't you tell me in advance?" "I forgot, huh?" I noticed her voice sounded a bit hoarse. I realized immediately. She must have been crying her eyes out earlier. Then let's wait for a while. I need to change my clothes anyway. Yan Tingxin pulled me back to her room. Judging from her flirty expression, she probably wanted to give me a little fashion show while she changed. When she heard there was no more noise in the living room, Yan Ryu quietly opened the door. The reason she didn't open the door earlier wasn't that she didn't want to see me. It was because she thought she looked terrible right now. She didn't want me or her daughter to see her like this. The originally beautiful and graceful woman now looked completely worn out. Her eyes were a little swollen and red from crying. She's always perfect in front of other people. Yan Ryu, of course she would never allow herself to look like this. In front of anyone else. No one gets to see her like that. Oh baby, don't. My mom's still here. Yan Ryu was stunned, listening to the noises coming from the opposite room. Her eyes were filled with unshakable bitterness. I knew she would definitely eavesdrop. I did it on purpose. I'm making my stance clear. Yan Ryu also knew I was doing it on purpose, but she could only bite her lower lip, her fingers digging into the doorframe, staring daggers at the opposite door. "Do you have to go this far right in front of me, huh?" The noises from the opposite room reached Yan Ruyu's ears. At that moment, all sorts of feelings welled up in her heart, filled with bitterness, jealousy, envy, and sorrow. While having all these mixed feelings, Yan Ryu also started to condemn herself. She knew I was right. She knew I did this to help the mother and daughter get along harmoniously, to provoke her on purpose, but she just couldn't help it. Her vision was blurry from her teary eyes. Her unfocused eyes gradually took on a lustful look. Her fair, slender fingers slowly moved as if casting a spell. The legendary water magic. At this moment, she even started having hallucinations, imagining that the woman inside the room was her. When she sensed it was over, she quickly got up and closed her door. She leaned against the back of the door, burying her face in her knees. A strong sense of self-loathing rose in her heart. What am I even doing? Baby, look, does this look off to you? Let me check. After all that messing around, Yan Kingxin started getting ready. The evening gown she would wear to the event at night. The pale cherry blossom pink gown outlined the girl's shoulder blades with asymmetric tailoring. 3 embroidered lily of the valley decorations hung at her waist, trembling lightly on the satin fabric as she walked, like morning dewdrops. Am I pretty? Why are you stunned? I smiled slightly and said, So pretty, my Qingxin is really beautiful. Hehe. Yan Qingxin showed her usual smile, stepping forward to adjust my collar. My baby is so handsome too. Tonight I'll let everyone know you're mine. No one can even think of snatching you away. I chuckled and shook my head. I felt that this trait of my girlfriend, her possessiveness, is just like her mom's. All right, let's go check how my mom's doing with her outfit change. She's probably waiting anxiously already. Obviously with 2 people here, helping each other out. We were definitely much faster than Yan Ryu working alone. Yan Xing knocked gently on the door. After getting Yan Ryu's permission, she went in to help her get dressed. I stared at the closed door, a bad feeling suddenly rising in my chest, wondering if I had gone too far earlier. But then I thought again, if I don't take drastic measures, who knows how messy things will get later, and I felt relieved. About 20 minutes later, Yan Qingqing came out. She looked at me expectantly and said, Baby, you can't look at my mom the same way you look at me later. I'll get jealous, you know. I found this funny in my mind. Your expression says otherwise, though. I bet you 80% want to see me awkward and embarrassed, right? Come on, is there anything about your mom I haven't seen? In any position? If seeing Yan Qingqing just now felt like a dream, then seeing Yan Ryu all dressed up now feels like pure magic. This woman has once again broken my impression of her. If Yan Ryu this morning was an innocent first girlfriend, then right now she's like a queen hidden in the deep sea. Her dark satin skirt surges like an undercurrent. The deep V neckline is embroidered with thorn patterns in gold thread, tapering to a sharp blade-like point at her collarbone. The mermaid-style skirt hem has a liquid metal-like sheen floating between its folds, flickering as she walks, like molten gold trapped in the deep sea. I admit Yanryu is very beautiful. I've even seen the madness beneath that beauty. But right now, this woman who embodies beauty itself still makes my heart race. And what's more, there's a hint of exhaustion in her eyes. The heavy makeup I've never seen on her before is probably to hide her slightly swollen face. Amidst her elegance and strength, there's also a fragility that doesn't usually belong to her. Yan Qingxin glanced at her boyfriend out of the corner of her eye, showing a just-as-I-thought expression. She wasn't jealous at all. After all, even she was dazed looking at her mom. What normal guy could resist? But staring any longer would be rude. She coughed loudly. I finally snapped out of it. A slight awkward look appeared on my face. She just warned me earlier, but I still fell for the trap. This woman is really too KU. No, this woman is really too annoying. Seeing that I was fascinated by her, Yanryu was naturally happy inside, but she couldn't show it. A faint smile tugged at the corner of her mouth. Let's go, it's almost time. The three of them went downstairs. The driver had been waiting for a long time already. She was a plain-looking woman. I sat in the passenger seat. The mother and daughter sat in the back. Ding dong, my phone received a message. I opened it and saw it was from Yan Qingqing. We're so close and you still text me? What do you want to say? Her first message almost made me choke. I think my mom just got her heart broken. My eyelid twitched. I know that. I did it. What makes you say that? When I went in just now, she was putting on makeup. But I still noticed her eyes were all red. She obviously cried. And I've never seen my mom cry before. And nothing usually makes her cry. So she definitely went through a breakup. I thought for a second, then replied, well, according to you, isn't that a good thing? Yan Qingqing in the back seat was stunned for a second, then secretly glanced at her mother, who was resting her chin on her hand and looking out the window, then started typing furiously on her screen. Even if that's the case, I still need to find that bastard. How dare he make my mom cry? Even I've never made her cry before. I'm definitely gonna teach him a lesson. I felt totally helpless. I put away my phone, crossing my arms and pressing one hand to my forehead. Yan Qingqing looked at me, blinking, confused about what was wrong with me. Then she started typing again. Baby, what's wrong? Answer me. Did I say something wrong? You'll help me, right? Hello? Answer me! Yanryu glanced at the frantically typing Yan Qingqing, then looked at me in the front seat, then turned her gaze back outside. Suddenly she spotted a familiar car. Her eyes narrowed slightly. Maxed out charm stat. Me who's as seductive as a succubus. A useless, cowardly wife to the core. A mother-in-law so lonely she's going crazy. A rival female CEO with an overflowing kind heart guided me to transmigrate into a matriarchal world where women outnumber men. Here, the social treatment of men and women is reversed, because I'm extremely good-looking. All the wicked women around me have started to make advances on me one by one. Just now, my mother-in-law and girlfriend brought me to a celebrity gathering. At this event, all the wealthy and beautiful women from the upper-class circle are gathered here. I subconsciously rubbed my hands together. It's impossible to say I'm not nervous. My girlfriend Yan Qingxin walked over to my side. She tilted her head slightly and leaned close to my ear. If you're nervous, don't leave my side later, okay? Seeing me acting like this, Yan Qingxin found it really novel. She suddenly noticed I was showing a more boyish side and thought it was really fun. She couldn't resist teasing me a little more. I opened my mouth and closed it again. In this gender-reversed world, it's no big deal to be nervous. Besides, it's totally normal for a guy like me to be nervous in other people's eyes. Just then, a Rolls-Royce pulled up at the entrance. A young girl got out of the car. But what shocked me was that I actually knew one of them. I turned to look at Yan Qingxin. That's exactly the requirement we talked about. The moment I looked over there, the woman over there spotted me at the same time. She acted just like Yan Qingqing. She only greeted me with a glance, and that was it. Lin Cang, she's one of Yan Qingqing's roommates who gave her advice back then to help her win me over. One of her strategists. She's a cool girl who always wears a high ponytail. She's super popular among the girls in their university. She's a really chic girl. Why are you still standing here, President Yan? Aren't you going in? The second I turned my head, A super gentle voice came from over there, and I couldn't help looking over. If Yan Ruyu is passionate and uninhibited, a highly aggressive fire, then the woman standing in front of her is brimming with soft tenderness. Every smile and frown is like gentle flowing water. The woman was wearing a cheongsam with dark green patterns. She has affectionate peach blossom eyes. The outer corners of her eyes are lined with colored eyeliner. A cinnabar mole between her eyebrows is as bright as a drop of blood. Yan Ruyu is a little taller than her. Right now she's looking down at the woman, her tone full of undisguised sarcasm. Who dares to go in before you, President Lin? If I didn't wait for you. Who knows? I might get tripped up by your company again next time. The woman lifted her delicate hand and covered her mouth as she chuckled softly. Her voice still as gentle and calm as ever. You're joking, President Yan. We're just comparing different suppliers, that's all. Why does it sound like we're targeting you on purpose? No matter how I look at it, this scene feels like a fierce tiger showing its fangs to a little white rabbit as a threat. Who is this woman? Lin Tang's mom. Yan Qingxin looked totally unfazed and curled her lips. Yeah, her name is Lin Chenxi. She's never gotten along with my mom. Mom, why are you arguing with Aunt Lin again? If you two stand here blocking the way, what about the people behind you? Hurry up and come inside. Yan Qingxin went over and linked arms with Lin Chenxi. Lin Kang came over and held Yan Ruyu's hand. With the two juniors mediating between them, the two beauties finally relaxed. Look, your daughter is way more sensible than you. Oh my, Qingqing has grown so tall. Auntie can barely reach the top of your head now, Lin Chenxi said as she stroked Yan Qingqing's head. Yan Ruyu rolled her eyes at her, then turned to smile at Lin Kang and said, You should learn more from little Lin Kang. Look how well behaved she is. I couldn't keep up with their conversation and started wondering who I was and where I was. A sharp-eyed waiter walked up to me just then. Little brother, you came with President Yan's daughter, right? Please come in. Thanks. Looking at the way that woman was staring at me like she wanted to eat me alive, I suddenly realized that I was actually the little white rabbit here. Also, that woman named Lin Chenxi just now. Did she glance at me? First of all, thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedules to be here today. The deputy mayor is an older woman, but you can still tell she was a beauty when she was young. After the head nurse finished her speech, she stepped down to prepare for the following events. The remaining people basically split into three factions. One side was people close to Yan Ruyu, gathering together to drink and chat. The other side was naturally Lin Chenxi's group. As for the third faction, hey Qingxin, even if the food is delicious, you should pay attention to the occasion, right? You've almost eaten everything on this table. I'm really confused. My girlfriend's appetite is several times bigger than mine was in my past life. But no matter how much she eats, her stomach never gets bigger at all. Oh, you can never get full at places like this. When this is over later, how about we go eat hot pot? I looked at the more than half-empty table, my eyelids twitching uncontrollably. Thank goodness your family is rich. Otherwise, no one could afford to feed you like this. Lin Sang hung her head and rubbed her hands together. I think I'll pass. I don't want to be a third wheel between you two. Yan Qingxin slung an arm around her shoulder. It's okay. Weren't you the one who told me to make a move fast back then? That the early bird catches the worm? There are 4 people in Yan Qingxin's dorm room. Lin Sang is the closest to her among them. Plus, she has a really soft personality. So Yan Qingxin doesn't think she's any threat at all. Oh, right. Yan Qingxin suddenly remembered something Yan Ruyu had told her. Lin Sang, your mom is going to announce here tonight that you're her successor. This question made Lin Kang fall silent immediately. She hung her head, her gaze darting around, and nibbled on her lower lip gently. Looking really uneasy? Is something wrong? I noticed right away that Lin Kang wasn't just anxious about this. She was hiding something else too. I can't tell you. She seemed to feel bad about hiding things from her friends. Lin Tang's eyes were red, looking like she was about to cry. Yan Qingxin didn't understand what was going on either, but she still hugged Lin Kang gently. All right. You don't have to tell me if you don't want to. Look at you, you're still such a crybaby. Come on, let's go to the bathroom. I'll touch up your makeup. It's all smudged from crying. Baby, wait for me here. I'll be right back. With that, she pulled Lin Kang and left, leaving me standing there completely confused. What just happened? I knew that girl had a soft personality, but I didn't expect her to be this soft. She'll break if you breathe on her too hard. I looked around the venue and realized I was the only guy here. I've really walked into a spider's lair. Now that I think about it, it makes sense. Men are already rare in this world, and men who are qualified to attend a high-end party like this are even fewer and farther between. After noticing I was alone, Yan Ruyu glanced at me several times, but she had no chance to come talk to me alone. Too many people were watching her. In front of all these people, her daughter is gone. And the mother-in-law going to check on her son-in-law. What would that look like? She cared about her reputation, but there was another person who didn't care about that at all, and was even happy to see Yan Ruyu fidgeting anxiously. Why are you here alone? Where are Xingxing and Lin Tang? Lin Chenxi was holding a glass of wine, looking at me with a smile on her face. As the saying goes, you don't hit a person who's smiling at you, especially a gentle and beautiful lady like her. Lin Chenxi left a pretty good first impression on me. She's gentle and lovely. King Sin went to the bathroom with Lin Tang. Aunt Lin, is it okay if I call you that? A glint flashed in Lin Chenxi's eyes, the corners of her mouth lifting slightly. Of course you can. You're King Sin's boyfriend. Of course you should call me Aunt Lin. But as she said that, she licked her lip gloss. Her peach blossom eyes are fixed on me. If you can call me Sister Lin, I'll be even happier. They say people with peach blossom eyes look at everyone with deep affection. I really got to experience that firsthand. My heart is racing uncontrollably. At the same time, my mind is trying to figure out what she means by that. It can't be that because she's on bad terms with Yan Ruyu. She wants to rope me over to her side, right? But even if she wants to do that, shouldn't your daughter be the one to approach me? My expression stays unchanged. I even speak in a slightly awkward tone. That won't do. That would mess up our seniority, wouldn't it? It's okay, I don't care about that. Or how about you call me that only when it's just the two of us? How does that sound? Lin Chenxi suddenly steps forward. She's now less than a fist width away from me. I can even feel the heat coming off her body. And that nice, light, elegant perfume she's wearing. I step back instinctively. I forgot I already backed up to the corner earlier trying to keep a low profile. When I turn my head again, Lin Chenxi's hand is already reaching for my cheek. It's Sister Lin, not Aunt Lin. This can't be right, can it? Right when Lin Chenxi is about to touch me, a hand reaches out from the side, gripping her wrist tightly. The grip is so strong. There's a crisp cracking sound. The jade bracelet on Lin Chenxi's wrist shatters immediately. The shards of the bracelet cut her wrist, and also slice the hand that was gripping hers. Blood drips down. What do you think you're doing? Yan Ruyu's voice, thick with suppressed anger, rings out from the side. The second I look up, my heart skips a beat. I've never seen this woman look so furious before. There's sharp, icy killing intent hidden in her cold eyes. Lin Chenxi. She really lives up to being Yan Ruyu's rival, even though she's bleeding nonstop right now. Her expression doesn't change at all. She still has a smile on her face. This kid is my daughter's friend. I can't even have a quick chat with him? I don't think this is any of your business. She yanks her hand away from Yan Ruyu as she speaks. The bracelet shards scatter all over the floor along with it, making a crisp, clinking noise. The furious Yan Ruyu is about to say something else, but I yank the arm with her injured hand towards me. Mind your own, she cuts off mid-sentence. When her eyes meet mine, seeing the obvious distress in my eyes, that I'm trying hard to hold back. For some reason, Yan Ruyu's anger fades instantly. The corner of her mouth lifts slightly. She lets me drag her towards the bathroom without resisting, watching the back of me and Yan Ruyu as we leave. The smile that's been permanently plastered on Lin Chenxi's face gradually fades away, leaving her cold. Sure enough, this man is different. If any other man saw this scene, 80% of them would be screaming and passed out by now. Yan Ruyu, why does your daughter get to be so excellent? Why should I give up on Lu Zhao? I will definitely take you from her. The kids we have will definitely be the most outstanding of all. Once both sides of the conflict have left the area, the crowd that was watching from afar finally dares to come over and ask questions. Ms. Lin, are you all right? Look how much you're bleeding. Hurry to the hospital to get that bandaged up. By the time they walk over to Lin Chenxi, she already has her gentle expression back on her face. No need, everyone. Hurry, before the vice mayor comes back. Get a waiter to clean this up. I'm going to change my clothes. Oh, right. Make sure you don't run your mouths about this, okay? Even though she's smiling right now, all the women around her can feel that this smile is scarier than if she wasn't smiling at all. The empty hallway echoes with the sound of Yan Ruyu's high heels clicking on the floor, watching my panicked back in front of her. Yan Ruyu feels like all the frustration she's had all day is completely gone. Are you worried about me? There's uncontrollable joy in her voice. No, but your actions and your eyes are saying otherwise. Her joy turns into smugness.
So you were worried about me.
You stubborn thing. Stop making things up out of nowhere. And why were you so impulsive back there? It's just a touch, it's no big deal. It's not like I would have lost a limb or something, after hearing me say that. Yanryu gets a little anxious. That's not okay. You're my daughter's boyfriend. Not just anyone can touch you. Don't do that again next time. Why should I listen to you? What right do you have to order me around? Listening to her extremely provocative words. A wave of unprovoked anger rises in my chest. I stop walking. I tilt my head up slightly to look into Yanryu's eyes. This time I don't put on an act. I don't pretend to be like the other men in this world. My gaze is firm and sharp. I'll say this one more time. Don't you ever do that again. Yanryu is wearing high heels, so she's quite a bit taller than me. But right now, looking at me ordering her around like this, she has a strange delusion, like she's the one looking up at me. This feeling is new to her, but also kind of exciting at the same time. Her heart starts beating a little faster without her realizing it. But she snaps out of it immediately. No, that's not right. What am I even thinking? There's no way I'm letting this little man boss me around. How dare you talk to me like that? Her voice sounds a little weak, making Yanryu's gaze a little flustered. For a second, she doesn't even dare to look me in the eye, even though she snapped out of that delusion. Her body and mind are still stuck in that moment, so her tone is a little soft for a second. It even sounds like she's coquettishly complaining. Her reaction catches me off guard. One of us didn't expect the other to be so firm. The other didn't expect the other to back down so easily. This sudden change is too much for me to process right away. I look away from her eyes. In the quiet hallway, for a moment, all you can hear is the sound of both of our heartbeats. The heat coming off each other's skin is so obvious right now. So warm. It's just that we know each other too well. Even the tiniest change can bring out a different kind of feeling. Mom, what are you two doing? The second that voice rings out, it's like a bucket of cold water being poured over both of our heads. I react faster. I let go of Yanryu's arm immediately. I walk quickly towards Yan Qingxin. Qingxin, take Aunt Yan to wash up quickly. Her hand is hurt. The second Yan Qingxin hears her mom is hurt, she hurries over to check on her. She completely forgets that she just saw the two of us standing face to face, with no idea what we were talking about. When she sees the blood on Yanryu's hand, Yan Qingxin immediately feels awful for her. Mom, how did this happen? Why would you get hurt out of nowhere? When Yanryu walks past me, we make eye contact for a second, but look away immediately. It's nothing. That cup was just really poorly made. I squeezed it too hard by accident and it broke. It's all Lin Chengxi's fault for making me mad. Oh, I see. That excuse is totally believable. Because Yanryu getting mad at Lin Chengxi has happened more times than anyone can count. And her crushing cups when she's mad is not unheard of either. Aunt Yan, what happened to you? Lin Tang, who came out right behind Yan Qingqing, lets out a surprised gasp first, then slowly leans against the wall and faints. Hey, Lin Tang! What's wrong with you? This girl just scared me again. The corner of Yan Qingqing's mouth twitches. She's hemophobic. I'm really at my wit's end with this girl. Are you even a girl? Wait, that sounds weird. But it's not exactly wrong either. Yanryu is taken care of by Yan Qingxin. As for Lin Kong, I have no choice but to help her up. I find 2 waiters to settle her in a hotel room first. I send a message to Yan Qingxin. Which room are you in? Then I sat down on a chair off to the side. Let out a long breath. What the hell is even going on? I didn't say a word, just kept pressing my forehead and smiling bitterly. Click, the sound of the bathroom door opening came. I froze on the spot. What's happening? How come there's someone else in this room? I watched Lin Chenxi walk out of the bathroom. I couldn't figure out how this woman was acting so casual, so nonchalant, and why is she even here? Of course she didn't take a shower. She just changed her clothes. The indigo cheongsam had been replaced by an inky black one. Her slender arms were covered in long black silk gloves. The sexy, alluring black cheongsam, pair that with pure, flawless white stockings. And on this woman's face, that soft smile that tugs right at my heartstrings. All of it made me feel a little flutter I definitely shouldn't have. Why am I here? Lin Chenxi walked barefoot gracefully over to me. She lifted my chin with one hand. The soft smile on her face turned a little seductive. Well, of course it's because I know my daughter faints at the sight of blood, so I told the staff to bring you guys here ahead of time. Did this woman, the very second the bracelet shattered, have already planned for both her daughter and me? Aunt Lin, call me sister. I wiped the cold sweat off my forehead. Sister Lin? No, that still doesn't feel right. Aunt Lin, I think if you want to rest, the bed would be a better option. There's plenty of space over by Lin Kang. Now call me sister. I want to rest right here. Noticing I was still being stubborn and wouldn't call her sister. Lin Chengxi pouted and rolled her eyes at me, but she didn't press the issue again. I have to admit, this woman knows exactly how to push my buttons. That one look almost made me cave. If I didn't know she was Lin Kang's mom, I probably would have called her sister. Even good sister at that. I've never met anyone like her. In this world where most women are extremely dominant, Lin Chengxi is practically an oddball just like me. Gentle and sweet with a little playfulness. And none of it feels forced at all. It's like this is who she really is.
Being around her.
I even felt something I haven't felt in a very long time. The dignity a man is supposed to have. I even thought I could be the one on top. Lin Chengxi slipped just now and fell right on top of me. She's almost the same height as me. Good thing this chair is big enough. Otherwise, there's no way two people could fit. What's worse, she wouldn't stay still either. Wave after wave of soft touches really got my heart racing and my mind wandering. Someone's being a naughty boy, huh? She seemed to notice some obvious change. Lin Chengxi's warm breath fanned against my ear, immediately turning the tip of my ear bright red. She'd never been this intimate with a man before. If it wasn't for all the years she spent practicing her facial control, she probably would have been bright red in the face by now. Even so, her eyes were still glistening. A faint blush painted her cheeks. She was so flustered she almost felt faint. I could hear her heartbeat thumping like a drum right now. Strictly speaking, Lin Chengxi is the same type of person as Yan Ruyu. They just handle people and things differently. Yan Ruyu is more straightforward, while Lin Chengxi is more tactful. After seeing how I was reacting, how could she hold herself back? Hey kiddo, want to play a little game with sister? If it was just some light teasing, I could have put up with it. But now you're talking about going all the way? No way that's happening. I already feel terrible enough for letting my girlfriend down. I definitely can't make it even worse. Aunt Lin, stop. I just reached out to push her away. But Lin Chengxi was faster. She pinned both my hands down and held them above my head. Ugh, do all of you love doing this? Illusion. Everything that just happened was an illusion. What gentle and sweet. All of it was an illusion. Didn't I still end up on the bottom? Just now, my stunning mother-in-law and that domineering female CEO, just to talk to me, got into a huge fight. Both got injured on their arms to treat my mother-in-law's wound. I was going to take her to get her wound treated, but I didn't expect that my mother-in-law, seeing how much I cared about her, actually wanted me to be my girlfriend's dad. Luckily, right then, my girlfriend and her best friend, who was also the female CEO's daughter, showed up. That's how I escaped the disaster. The female CEO's daughter has hemophobia. She saw the blood on my mother-in-law's arm and fainted on the spot. So I told my girlfriend to take my mother-in-law to get her wound treated, and I called 2 female attendants over to take the female CEO's daughter to the hotel upstairs from the banquet to rest. Just as I was about to leave, the female CEO actually pounced on me. Right now, Lin Chengxi, the female CEO, had lust-filled eyes. It was like she could read my mind. Be a good boy and stay still for me, okay? Later, sister will let you be on top, promise? My mouth twitched. How nice of you, huh? People are all about making compromises. Yan Ruyu just doesn't get that. She always goes straight for people's weak spots. But Lin Chengxi is different. She'll first make an extremely ridiculous offer. Then when the other person is obviously about to say no, she'll offer a compromise. My shirt was already completely unbuttoned, revealing my toned pecs and abs underneath. Lin Chengxi couldn't help but swallow hard. Her fingers covered in black silk gloves glided gently. The faint itch made me gasp involuntarily. My reaction seemed to pique Lin Chengxi's interest even more. Her fingers gradually pressed harder, even grabbing roughly, all over my body, leaving long red marks one after another. That's when I suddenly noticed Lin Chengxi's arm. Blood was flowing down from it. Hey, Aunt Lin, your arm is bleeding! Stop right now. Didn't you get your wound treated? Lin Chengxi glanced at it, breathing heavily. A dangerous smile spread across her lips. I did, but maybe because you're here next to me. Even my blood is all excited, huh? Want to have a taste? What do you mean, do I want to taste it? I thought Yan Ruyu was already pretty perverted. Didn't expect there's someone even more extreme. Chengxi licked the blood off her arm. Then she pressed her lips to mine under my shocked gaze. I was so stunned I forgot to close my mouth. In an instant, my mouth was filled with that faint, elegant scent of Lin Chengxi. and the metallic, coppery sweet taste of blood. I don't know how long it lasted. Maybe a few dozen seconds. Maybe a few minutes. I was already starting to feel dizzy and leaned against Lin Chenxi's shoulder. With my last sliver of rationality, I spoke my last coherent thought. Sister Lin, Lin Kang is still in the other room. What Lin Chenxi said next completely snuffed out my last bit of reason. Then we won't stay here. I already booked the room next door a long time ago. Whoa, 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 be but sister. My words came out like a dreamy murmur. Before I could finish speaking, a delighted voice came from beside my ear. Immediately snapped me out of all my indulgence. Baby, you finally agreed to call me sister. Thank God my mind started working again. My unfocused eyes finally cleared up and I could see again. Ching Ching, what are you doing here? The joy of getting what she wanted just now covered up the confused doubt she felt for her lover.
Yan Qingqing wrapped her hands around my neck.
Sniffing at her favorite scent, feeling her favorite body temperature. When I came over just now, I saw Aunt Lin carrying you out. I asked her what was wrong with you. She said you also seemed to faint at the sight of blood. But you held it in the whole time. You only relaxed after Lin Kang was settled. I tried my best to recall what happened before. Okay, I couldn't remember anything at all. I got dizzy the second that woman shoved a mouthful of blood into my mouth. There's definitely something wrong with that blood. Yin Qingxin didn't notice anything off about me. She kept gushing about how much she liked me. I knew that tough act you put on all the time is fake. You grew up in an orphanage when you were little. You must have gone through a lot of hardship. You must have had no choice but to pretend to be mature and steady. Have you ever fantasized about having an older sister-like woman hold you in her arms and dote on you properly? Whisper in your ear that everything's okay, and tell you to leave everything to her? Her words left me silent. I can't argue with that. I really can't argue with that at all. No matter what world you're in, every guy has probably thought about that. That warm, tender silence didn't last long. Yan Qingxin cupped my face in her hands, her eyes full of expectation. Baby, Call me that again, won't you? Girlfriend. This behavior, like a kid begging for candy, made me not know whether to laugh or cry. You're the one who said you wanted to be the older sister. Now you're acting all coquettish like a little sister.
What else can I do?
I had to agree, didn't I? I avoided her gaze a little and said softly, Sister Qingxin. Looking at her boyfriend's delicate look and hearing that timid voice, Yan Qingxin's face was visibly turning extremely excited. The faint blush that had faded from her cheeks came rushing back. Her breathing even got a little heavier. Ugh, I can't take it anymore. Baby, you're so cute. She pulled my head into her arms and rubbed it roughly. All I could feel was that I was being pressed into a ball of soft cotton candy. But this cotton candy wasn't just sweet and soft. It was also surprisingly good at blocking my breathing. Using the last of my consciousness, I slapped Yan Qingxin hard on the back. Maybe this last-ditch struggle actually worked a little. Yan Qingxin looked a little helpless and said dotingly, All right. Sister's gonna take good care of you. You insatiable little greedy cat. Sigh after she let go of me. She was instantly dumbfounded, looking at her beloved boyfriend whose face had turned purple and was rolling his eyes back. Yan Qingxin's eyes went wide. Tears immediately filled her eyes. Baby? What's wrong with you? You can't die! Baby? The night breeze brought a rare touch of coolness to the sweltering summer. I slowly opened my eyes and shook my still dizzy head. I planned to get up and see where I was. Yan Qingxin, who was lying beside me, sensed the movement and quickly looked up. Our eyes met. Looking at my girlfriend's obviously puffy, tear-stained face, I smiled slightly and said, Looks like I didn't die. Qingqing, why are you crying? You're supposed to be the older sister. You can't just cry whenever you want. She'd been feeling guilty and blaming herself all night. Yan Qingqing couldn't hold it in any longer. She threw herself onto me and said through sobs, I'm sorry. Baby, I'm so sorry. It's all my fault. I almost killed you. Wah! As she spoke, tears started flowing again, soaking the blanket covering me. With her body trembling slightly and her words full of guilt, I knew she must have been terrified. I patted her back gently. It's okay. Look, I'm fine, right? Really? She lifted her head gently, her eyes blurry with tears. She sniffled a little too. Of course, it's not that easy to die. Silly girl. I reached out to wipe the tears from the corner of her eye. Yan Qingxin, who'd almost made a huge mistake this time, didn't dwell on it anymore. She just blinked and asked, Baby, are you hungry? It's already a little past 1 a.m. You didn't eat much at dinner either. Knowing Yan Qingxin as well as I do, how could I not know what she was thinking? I smiled helplessly and said, I think you're the one who's hungry, aren't you? We were supposed to go eat hot pot. Who knew we'd end up in the hospital instead? All right, go figure out where to get some food. Heh heh! Yan Qingxin, caught red-handed, giggled sheepishly. It's not like Yan Qingxin only cared about eating. After all, my condition really wasn't that serious. All right, I'll go buy food. You can have whatever you want. But don't buy anything with too strong a smell. This is a hospital. Click. The sound of the door opening echoed. I was still resting with my eyes closed, so I asked casually, why are you back so soon? Weren't you hungry? That's exactly why your sister came to see you, baby. Mom, I'm not feeling well. I'll take him home first. I won't be coming back tonight. Yan Ruyu had already lost count of how many times she'd read this message. My concern had put her in a really good mood. So much so that for the rest of the party, she didn't get into a single argument with Lin Chengxi. Of course, she didn't talk to her either. What surprised her, though, was that Lin Chengxi hadn't announced that Lin Kang would be her heir and join the company as an intern. That didn't match the intel she'd received. Even though all unconfirmed intel can have deviations, something this big is usually accurate, unless she changed her mind last minute. But why? Yan Ruyu unconsciously used her fingers to rub the bandage wrapped around her hand. Women in this world aren't that delicate. A small injury like this just needs to be cleaned, disinfected, and bandaged. She really wanted to ask her daughter what was wrong with me, but she felt like that wasn't something she should be concerned about, and it wasn't her style anyway. Just the thought of her daughter and me possibly doing something right now made Yan Ryu feel tight in the chest. She knew this was wrong, that she shouldn't feel this way, but she just couldn't help it. After glancing at that message one more time, she switched to her photo album. In the year since we separated, this was the app she opened most often. Soon, in her hidden album, she found the video she wanted to watch. She'd forced me to record this video, back when I was disoriented. She even burned it to a disc to keep as a collection. If Yan Qingxin saw me in that video, she'd definitely get so furious her blood would boil. It was a side of her beloved boyfriend she'd never seen before. Lying on the bed, the hand with the bandage holding a phone, the other hand slowly practicing water magic. Even though she'd watched it countless times and could remember everything in the video by heart, Yan Ryu was still as infatuated with it as ever. Back in the hospital, hearing that voice, I snapped my eyes open. Sister Lin? No, wait. Auntie Lin, what are you doing here? Did Qingqing tell her I was here? No way, she didn't even tell Yan Ryu. Why would she tell her? She caught my slip of the tongue, a pleased smile spreading across Lin Chenxi's face. You can call me sister if you want, little boy. It's just the two of us here right now. Lin Chengxi had changed into a different outfit. The party dress was too inconvenient to move around in. She was wearing a thin, tight-fitting Squirtle-printed t-shirt underneath, with a short pink jacket over it. Maybe the jacket was too small, or maybe her bust was too full. The Squirtle's eyes were stretched wide open. On her lower half, she wore pink yoga pants, hugging her thighs with their smooth, rounded You're mine
curves.
already.
Don't even think about running away.
You're not going
into
anywhere.
her usual
It's
self.
a classic
Sigh of
outfit
relief.
for night runs. But the one in danger here wasn't her. It was me. I had a feeling I was in pretty big trouble right now. If you want to work out, fine. But what's the point of working out all the way to my hospital room? Lin Chengxi walked over to the hospital bed and knelt one knee on the edge of the bed. She slowly leaned her upper body close to my face, our noses almost touching. We were so close we could feel each other's breath. Aunt Lin, what exactly are you here for? And how did you know I'm here? I fully realized my own shortcomings, so I've decided to give up, fighting head-on and choose to outsmart you. This Squirtle has such big eyes. Following Lin Chenxi's movements, the gently swaying Squirtle makes me feel like I've got auto-aim turned on. I look away, but my gaze gets pulled right back. I look away again, and it gets pulled back once more. Noticing that I can't control my wandering gaze, Lin Chenxi curls the corner of her mouth up. I'm different from other men in this world. She knows that. If it were anyone else, they'd just turn their face away blushing right now. But I didn't do that. I look like I want to look, but I'm trying to hold myself back, and I just can't manage it. In her memory, only women react like this. So what else is different about you? Little boy, let your big sister strip you completely bare. Whoops, Lin Chenxi's arm goes weak, and she falls right on top of me. I don't even have time to mourn the Squirtle. Right away, I feel that same soft touch I felt back at the hotel. But this time, there's clearly one less layer in the way. Whoa, I instinctively hold her shoulders. Aunt Lin, are you okay? Fine. If you want to play games, then I'll play along with you. Xing will be back soon anyway. She should be back soon, right? At the night market, 3 kilometers away from the hospital right now. Boss, 3 skewers of grilled squid, please. 5 skewers of bullwhip, please. 10 skewers of kidney. And for the beef skewers, give me 20 first. Eating here? Got it. Wow, little lady, you're ordering a lot. Hey, my boyfriend's in the hospital. It's not convenient to eat there. I'll eat here first, then buy some other stuff to take back. Ha, that young guy's so lucky. You're pretty and you've got a great appetite, little lady. That's so nice, says the skewer lady. But actually, she's jealous of Yan Qingxin. These days, good men are so hard to find. Yan Qingqing, sitting on a small stool swinging her head, is still thinking about what snacks to bring me. But she has no idea. My mouth is occupied right now. No, Aunt Lin, don't. I try my best to push Lin Chenxi's shoulders away, but I can't move her at all. Call me sister. If you don't, then don't say anything. Kiss me. Fine. I'll call you Oomph. She didn't give me a chance to speak. Lin Chengxi just kissed me straight on. You get kissed either way, whether you call me that or not. Is there something wrong with you? Or am I actually a succubus? No way, damn it, Yan Qingxin. I'm definitely getting promoted a generation tonight. I still don't want to jump a generation like this out of nowhere. Even though the lady is super tempting. I can't cross that line, man. Seeing the little mischievous grin in my eyes. Lin Chengxi panics for no reason. Wait, why am I panicking? It's not like he can do anything to me, right? The thought is nice, but reality is harsh. You usually only know how good you are at fighting once you actually start fighting. Obviously, Lin Chengxi is on the weaker side. Maybe a little stronger than Yan Qingyan, but not by much. Feeling the woman in my arms has started trembling slightly. I know it's almost over. Finally, right before I thought my arm was going to get crushed, Lin Chengxi's body goes limp and collapses on top of me. We're holding each other, both panting heavily. Lin Chengxi feels like she almost died. I feel the same way. The two of us who just survived a near-death experience glance at each other silently, then look away quickly. Lin Chengxi is embarrassed because her reaction was too extreme. She feels like she made a fool of herself. I'm embarrassed because she's Lin Kang's mother and Yan Qingxing's elder. What I just did with her is really inappropriate. Hey, Aunt Lin, why are you so fixated on me? It can't just be because I'm Qingqing's boyfriend and Aunt Yan's future son-in-law, right? I didn't get the answer I wanted. Lin Chengxi left, looking like she was running away with her tail between her legs. Right after I asked that question, all I got in return was a look of shame and anger, and Lin Chengxi's face was full of humiliation. That's understandable, I guess. As the one who's usually in control, she just got overpowered by me, the supposed weaker party. If this were Yan Ruyu instead, I don't even want to think about it. What kind of torture? I'd have to go through tonight. If we were at the hospital, she'd probably tie me to an operating table and do all kinds of stuff to me. I can't help shivering at the thought. I hurry up and make the bed. Otherwise, I won't be able to explain this when Yan Qingxin gets back. I need to ask her properly later, who she told that I'm here. How did that woman find out? Could it be Lin Kang? My suspicion was correct. Lin Chengxi did trick Lin Kang into talking, and she told her I was in the hospital. After Lin Kang woke up, she found out I was the one who got someone to take her back to her room. Lin Chengxi, who was next to her at the time, obviously wasn't going to waste this chance to get close to me. She took the chance to tell Lin Kang to contact Yan Qingxin, saying she wanted to come thank me properly when she had time. Lin Kang, who always does what she's told, even though she thought there was no need to be so formal, since we're all good friends. She asked anyway. After going back and forth a bit, she found out I was in the hospital. Lin Kang wanted to come visit me, but she almost suffocated me earlier, so she couldn't bring herself to say it. Yan Qingxin just said I was fine and told her she didn't need to come. We can meet up another time when we're free. The mother and daughter went home that night. Lin Kang saw blood today, so she wasn't feeling well mentally, so she went to bed early. But Lin Chengxi was tossing and turning in bed. She couldn't fall asleep no matter what. The second she closes her eyes, she sees the scene from the hotel room. That thrill, even after so much time has passed, is still echoing nonstop in her body. Finally, almost driven crazy by this feeling, she decided to come see me. At worst, she'd say she came because I helped Lin Kang, so she came to visit me. Even though visiting someone in the hospital in the middle of the night is totally ridiculous, she was full of anticipation when she came, and full of humiliation when she left. Lin Chenxi dragged her sore, weak legs into the bathroom. The squirtle swayed a little when she took it off. Humiliation. Total, utter humiliation. How did I give in that easily? How could this happen? That's not supposed to happen. Lin Chenxi never thought she was this weak. If we actually went all the way, wouldn't I last less than 5 minutes? That's totally unacceptable. Who does she think she is? How could she have such a big weakness when it comes to this kind of thing? In a way, she's even more paranoid than Yan Ruyu. The more capable a person is, once they find a flaw in themselves, the more frantically they'll work to fix it. No way, I don't believe it. That can't be true. There must be a way. There has to be a way. She turned on the tablet next to her and searched online how to improve women's stamina. Then she found out there actually are training tools for that. What's this? Small and quiet. Finally, after careful selection, she ordered a product with a 99% positive rating, then quickly deleted all browsing history. After heaving a long sigh of relief, Lin Chenxi had a sharp gaze, staring at the warm light in the bathroom. Lu Zhao, just you wait. After eating until she was 80% full, Yan Qingzhen bought some light-flavored food and drove back to the hospital. Babe, I'm back. I got a lot of delicious food. What's wrong with you? Why are you looking at me like that? Yan Qingzhen, who had a big smile on her face, just walked in the door when she noticed I was looking at her weirdly, like I was looking at an incompetent wife. Yan Qingzhen didn't get it, walked over to the bed, and put the stuff down beside it. You changed the bed sheets? I spoke to Qingzhen in a very flat tone. Who did you tell about what happened to us at the hospital? No one. She was about to say that subconsciously when she immediately remembered. Oh, right. Lin Tang said he wanted to take time to thank you, so I just mentioned it offhand, that we were at the hospital. Offhand? The corner of my mouth twitched. I'm not as slow-witted as Yan Qingzhen thinks. That woman can even use her own daughter. Babe, what's wrong? Did I make you mad? She could tell I was unhappy. Yan Qingzhen sat down next to me. Looking a little nervous, she asked, facing my girlfriend who had clear eyes and clearly had no idea what was going on. I smiled helplessly, reached out and ruffled her hair. No, how could you make me mad? My Qingzhen is the sweetest. Just a little silly. Yan Qingzhen didn't push my hand away and pretended to be angry. Who are you calling silly? I've taken an IQ test before. I got 125, she said with a little proud look on her face. I couldn't hold back my laughter. 125? I think your IQ is higher than that. You should multiply it by 2. Yan Qingzhen blinked, mumbled to herself. Multiply by 2, that's 250. Oh, you're done for. See how I mess with you tonight. My dismissive provocation made Yan Qingzhen resort to physical suppression. Early the next morning, the two of them finished the discharge procedures. Babe, where do you want to go play today? It's still summer break right now. There are still a few days left before school starts. How about we go back to Ice City? I'll show you the orphanage I grew up in. What do you think? These past 2 days I've been completely exhausted physically and mentally, and been through so many close calls. It was really fun, that's for sure. But it was also really tiring. I feel like if this kind of life keeps going, my heart will give out sooner or later. If I can't handle the trouble, can't I just avoid it? When Yan Qingzhen heard this, her eyes lit up. What I said was basically equivalent to me taking her home, to meet my parents. How could she not be happy? Great, let's leave right now. I'll send my mom a text. After the two of them took a bus for more than 3 hours, they arrived at Ice City, which is hundreds of kilometers away from Goose City. After the two arrived at their destination, this place was now just an abandoned site. Back then, due to funding issues, the orphanage was disbanded. All the orphans were transferred to other orphanages. I led Yan Qingzhen around the place, telling her about some of the things that happened when I lived here. She just listened quietly, looking at the faint smile on her boyfriend's face. Yan Qingzhen also felt warm in her heart. Babe, I was still talking about old times when I turned to look at Yan Qingzhen. She was staring into my eyes, walked up to me, and held my face with both hands. Do you know when I fell for you? When? Yan Qingzhen leaned in slowly towards me, the tips of our noses touching, each other's figures reflected in each other's eyes. It was the first time we met. When you smiled like that. Clang! It sounded like someone kicked a soda can. The two of them looked over and saw a flustered figure trying to leave. I realized I recognized that back. Senior Yun? The woman who had been recognized froze mid-step. and slowly turned around. What a coincidence, Junior Liu. Yan Kingson sized up the strange woman. In front of her, she looked like she was mixed race, with an unusually attractive beauty. Hi, Senior Yun. What are you doing here? I smiled awkwardly and walked up to greet her. I'm taking a walk. She's lying, right? She's definitely lying, right? Even though she had no expression on her face. Yan Qingxin could tell at a glance that she was lying. Oh, really? Yan Qingxin looked at me with a shocked face. You just believe that? Oh, right, Qingxin. Let me introduce you. This is my senior from high school. Yun Shuyao. She helped me a lot with my schoolwork back then. Yun Shuyao finally turned her gaze to Yan Qingxin, staring straight at her with emotionless eyes, then nodded. Senior Yun, this is my girlfriend. Yan Qingxin, she's also a student at our university. Same year as me. Yan Qingxin caught the keyword. Yeah, it's a huge coincidence, right? I was super surprised when I ran into Senior Yun at school too. She's Professor May's star student. One didn't speak. The other didn't want to talk to her. The atmosphere went quiet for a moment, stuck between the two women. In the middle of summer, I actually felt a slight chill. I immediately realized what was going on and looked over at my girlfriend amusedly. Let's head out first, okay? How about we find a place to sit for a bit? Yan Qingxin agreed haughtily. Okay. Yun Shuyao didn't show any other emotions. The three of them went to a cold drink shop. Yun Shuyao sat down first. Then Yan Qingxin spoke up. Babe, come with me for a second. I have something to tell you. She emphasized the pet name, on purpose, looking straight into Yun Shuyao's eyes when she said it. I held back my laughter. Okay, Senior Yun, wait for me here for a second. Order whatever you want to drink. I turned around and followed Yan Qingxin. But what I didn't see was, Yan Shuyao kept staring at my back, only looking back at the menu when I was out of sight. Yan Qingxin put her palm against the wall next to my face and cabadoned me. All right, babe. How come you never told me? You had a senior like this from high school. At our university? Looking at her, gritting her teeth but trying to stay calm. I wanted to tease her. You never asked. Besides, we used to what? My highly suggestive words made Yan Qingxin panic a little. After all, first loves are the biggest enemy between couples. Her first love is me. But she never asked who my first love was. Senior used to tutor me with my schoolwork in the library all the time. Then she graduated. And we didn't see each other again until university. Yan Qingxin breathed a quiet sigh of relief, but still looked at me full of suspicion. Really? Of course. Wait, Qingxin, are you jealous? There's no way Yan Qingxin would admit to something that embarrassing. She dropped her hand, puffed out her chest, and said stubbornly, Are you kidding? Me jealous? Is she prettier than me? Does she have a better figure than me? Is she richer than me? Does she? She wasn't too sure about that last point. I couldn't hold it in anymore. 我实在是忍不住了. Looking at my girlfriend's cute, jealous look, I squat on the ground, clutching my stomach, grinning from ear to ear. Qingxin feels a little embarrassed by my laughter. Stop laughing, you're so annoying. You go back first. I need to make a call. She has to confirm this matter right now. Who on earth is Yun Shuyao? When enemies meet, their eyes burn with rage. When rivals in love meet, they also have a tacit understanding. If her hunch is right, this woman is definitely no ordinary senior. Maybe I don't have feelings for her, but she is definitely different. In a lab of the medical college of a Cheng University, the woman sits upright at the lab bench. Her delicate hand holds a pen, carefully recording every result of this experiment. Even in a loose white lab coat, it can hardly hide her graceful figure. With every soft breath, those eye-catching curves seem to sway gently in the air too. It's a pity that there's barely any expression on the woman's face. Her delicate features are as calm as still water, but her cold face is like the winter wind, making people dare not approach her easily. Suddenly, the phone placed beside her lights up. The corners of the woman's lips, painted with burgundy lipstick, lift slightly into a faint curve. What's wrong? Qingxin's magnetic voice carries an imperceptible trace of fondness. Aunt May. Yan Qingqing's slightly aggrieved voice comes from the earpiece. Hearing her tone, the already scarce expression on Maisie's face immediately takes on a terrifying coldness. Qingqing, what's wrong? Did something happen? Did that Lu Zhao bully you? Yan Qingqing on the phone seems afraid she'll misunderstand. Says immediately, No, Aunt May. He didn't bully me. I just want to ask you something. The explanation seems to work. Maisie's furrowed brows slowly relax. The ice on her face also shows a faint sign of melting. Go ahead. After a moment, Yan Qingqing's hesitant voice comes from the other end of the line. Aunt May, is there a student named Yun Shuiao? Hearing this name from Yan Qingxin's mouth, she feels a little surprised because she has never mentioned her before. And according to her observation, the two have never had any contact either. Yeah, she's 1 year above you, a student at our university's medical college. Well. Yan Qingxin on the other end of the line falls into an inexplicable tangle again. This rare look makes Maisie feel a little curious. A faint smile appears on her face too. Xinxin, just ask whatever you want to know. What's there to be embarrassed about with Aunt May? It's just, Lu Zhao and I came to Ice City, and we ran into her here, I feel. Maybe it's not nice to say this, but is she mentally ill? Normally, this is definitely an insult. But Maisie knows. Saying this about Yun Shuiao isn't really an insult, because she really is ill. Maisie sighs softly. You're right, Qingqing. That kid does have some psychological issues, but it doesn't affect her daily life, so she's never received treatment. What kind of problem? Yan Qingqing asks impatiently. To put it simply, she suffered a psychological trauma before, which damaged the emotional nerves in her brain, so she often appears expressionless. But there's no real harm, that's all. I see. Oh, right, Aunt May, one last question. Does she have a boyfriend? Is this girl jealous of Yun Shuiao? Thinking of this, Maid's lips curl up slightly. Well, do you want to hear that she does? Or that she doesn't? Realizing her little thought has been found out, Yan Qingxin feels embarrassed immediately. Oh, Aunt May, stop teasing me. Just tell me yes or no. Ha ha ha, our little Qingxin is so possessive of her man. Yes, okay. I've even met him. Hearing this answer, Yan Qingxin is over the moon. Her voice unconsciously goes up a few pitches. Great, thanks, Aunt May. I'll bring you a gift when I get back. After hanging up the phone, Maise's smile slowly fades. Her slender fingers rub her chin. This Lu Zhao Tiesk. Looks like I need to find Shuiao a boyfriend. But someone better than him? Seems like there really isn't any. Oh, Xinxin, you're just like your mom. You want the best of everything? Aren't you making things hard for Aunt May? Hey, it's been a while. What have you been up to lately, senior? After I sit down, I chat with Yun Shuiao casually. We actually met pretty simply. Not much. Helping Professor May finish her research project. I'll apply for grad school later and ask her to be my supervisor. Yun Shuiao adjusts her glasses. Her face remains completely expressionless. I'm used to her like this. Already. I did ask around about what's wrong with her before, but no one knows. That's so cool. You're already preparing for grad school applications, senior? Not bad, facing my smile. She lowers her head slightly, staring at the cold drink in front of her. When did you and her meet? I answer casually. Back when I first started college. Not long after. Qingxin asked me out and we got together. My fingers rub the glass in front of me. My eyes are full of gentle smiles. So that means, it's been less than a month. Yun Shuiao's soft murmur makes me frown slightly, because this line is way too familiar. Another woman said the exact same thing not long ago. What did you say, senior? Nothing. I said school starts in less than a month. Hearing her say the exact same line Yan Ruyu said before, noticing she keeps avoiding eye contact with me, I feel like all my hair is standing on end. I heard a saying before. A person's mood affects how they perceive what they see. Now I finally understand what that means. Ever since I met Yun Shuiao, she's always been expressionless. I got used to it. But right now, at this moment, I actually think Yun Shuiao's expressionless look definitely has a hidden meaning. What is she hinting at? What did she see? What does she know? I clench my teeth. To keep my expression from changing too much, Sai Senior, that thing you said just now. What exactly do you mean by less than a month? My eyes are fixed on Yun Shuiao's face, not missing even the tiniest change in expression. But to my disappointment, that exotic, uniquely beautiful face really doesn't change at all. She puts the straw in her mouth, takes a sip of the drink. No special meaning. Don't overthink it, Junior. That's a threat, right? That's definitely a threat, isn't it? What do you mean, don't overthink it? You said something that makes me overthink. And then you tell me not to overthink. Does that even make sense to you? I'm this close to losing my mind. It suddenly hits me. I really don't know the woman in front of me at all. Knowing someone's name, what they look like, and which school they went to, that's called knowing someone? Far from it. Not nearly enough. I subconsciously glance back at the door and see Yan Qingqing still hasn't come back.
Senior, what do you think of me?
Yun Shuiao blinks. tilts her head slightly, using this gesture to show she's confused, but she still answers. You're great. You're a very gentle and kind, nice guy, Junior. My cheek twitches. That's the first time I've ever been friend-zoned. I'm always the one who messages other people first. But that doesn't matter right now. What I mean is, Senior, you want me, your Junior, to have a good life. To be happy. Right, Of course. Do you actually think I'd wish you a bad life? Yun Shuiao looked straight into my eyes. Her gaze was clear and full of sincerity. But I can't bring myself to believe it right now. That this gaze is genuine. Then I leaned forward slightly and moved closer to Yun Shuiao with a pleading little smile on my face. Senior, you also don't want my old secrets to come out, which would make Qingqing hate me and break up with me, right? Yun Shuiao's eyes widened. She spoke almost immediately. I won't tell her. After she said that, she seemed to realize she'd let something slip. She immediately shut her mouth, but it was already too late. I'd already heard what I wanted to know. I propped myself against the table and held my forehead, my face full of helplessness. Yun Shuiao, on the other hand, kept her head down, glancing up at me secretly every now and then. That split second just now, the flustered look on Yun Shuiao's face, I saw it clearly. Now that I had this answer, I could finally breathe easy. Thank goodness you're not the type, Senior, to threaten people with this kind of thing. Otherwise, I don't even dare to think if those unsavory scenarios would actually play out. When did you find out? Since we've already cleared this up, there's no point in hiding anything anymore. We might as well get everything out in the open. Yin Shuiao's voice was a little low. She never thought she'd talk about this with the person involved one day. Last summer, I came back from summer break and saw you on the street. I was going to come over and say hi, but I noticed she was biting her lower lip. Like whatever she was going to say next was really hard to get out. I cut in instead and said, You saw there was a woman next to me, right? Yun Shuiao nodded silently. Phew. I let out a long breath. I looked her in the eye. Senior Yun, you know I'm an orphan, right? I got into Echeng University, but I needed tuition money. Yun Shuiao's pupils trembled slightly. There was no need to say anything more. This kind of thing isn't that rare. A disadvantaged man relying on a woman to survive isn't anything new. She just never expected I'd do the same. Yun Shuiao's eyes were a little red. She really wanted to ask, Why didn't you come to me? But she couldn't say those words. Why would I come to her? What reason did I have to look for her? The two of us. We're just plain, ordinary friends, nothing more. So, Senior, can you promise me something? Promise you won't tell anyone about this. Okay? Looking at my vulnerable expression right now, and my pleading smile, Yun Shuiao nodded hard. Don't worry, Junior. I will never tell a soul. I trust you, Senior. After all, you're such a good person. She couldn't stand my straightforward and earnest gaze, apparently. Yun Shuiao silently looked away. Seeing her reaction, the hand I had under the table couldn't help but clench into a fist. Yes, I did it. I never would have thought that such a huge landmine was left behind last year. Thankfully, the Senior is a good person and never told anyone. Senior, let's exchange contact info. I even looked down on myself a little for saying that. We've known each other for so long, and we don't even have each other's contact info. Yeah, sure. Yun Shuiao fumbled a little as she took out her phone. I don't know if it's just my imagination, but it felt like the Senior in front of me was a little Ted. Ding ling ling. Not long after, Yan Qingxin pushed the door open and came back. I turned around at the sound. Qingxin, you're back. I already ordered your drink. That's so sweet of you. Got it, Yun Shuiao. Yan Qingxin, who now had a boyfriend, found her a lot more pleasant to look at now. But, is this woman smiling? Why, what happened? Even though her face was still as expressionless as ever, Yan Qingxin was completely sure that this woman's eyes were definitely filled with amusement right now. Because when we first met, her eyes definitely didn't look like this. Something's off. Super off, like 120% off. She secretly glanced back and forth between her boyfriend and Yun Shuiao. She was dying to know. What did these two talk about in the short time she was gone? Just now, Yun Shuiao, who'd just learned my secret of being kept by my girlfriend's mom, was in a great mood as she walked down the street. Now she had leverage over me. His girlfriend Yan Qingxin wasn't wrong. She was indeed smiling, and she was smiling brightly. But unfortunately, it didn't show on her face at all. All the joy was in her eyes. This time last year, She ran into me on the street. She was going to come over and say hi, but she noticed there was a woman next to me. Even though that woman was extremely beautiful, it was obvious she was way older than me, and what's more, there was no smile on my face. Today was different. She noticed there was a smile on my face today. A genuine, heartfelt smile. That's good, that's enough. As long as I'm living well, that's all that matters. Her father was a man of loose morals. Her mother was the youngest daughter of a wealthy family. She met him when she was young and dreaming of true love. She even left her family willingly for him, but her love was ultimately misplaced. Having disgraced her family, her mother was too ashamed to go back. She died young, consumed by regret and resentment. Luckily, she was a girl. A very beautiful girl at that. The family took her in to raise her, thinking that one day, they might need to use her for a political marriage, to marry off to the young master of another powerful family. Yun Shuiao had accepted her fate long ago. But that afternoon, in the library, she met her very own angel. "You can have it, I'm not in a hurry." The smiling boy's gentle words burst into her heart uninvited. But she never expected. When she wanted to confess her feelings, she found out I already had a girlfriend. Yes, this wasn't the first time Yun Shuiao had seen Yan Qingxin. She'd known about her for a long time. She just got cold feet. She didn't even dare to show up in front of Yan Qingxin. As for why she was at the abandoned orphanage, there wasn't any special reason. She just wanted to see the place where I grew up. It was so great that she ran into me here. He'd found his own happiness. That's wonderful. Now I can rest easy. The street view in front of her was a little blurry. Yun Shuiao wiped her eyes. At that moment, in the top floor meeting room of Yan Ruyu's company in Decheng, Yan Ruyu, who was sitting at the head of the table, had a dark look on her face. The atmosphere around her was heavy enough to suffocate. Because last night, she'd stayed up too late practicing water magic using my videos, so she woke up a little late today too. She was planning to come see me today, while my attitude towards her was starting to soften. But when she checked her phone, she found out someone had made a move on her territory while she wasn't looking. How could she not be frustrated? And the worst part was, because of Lin Chenchi, she couldn't get away to go to Bingcheng at all. She took out her phone and looked at the message Yan Qingxin had sent her. Yan Ruyu mumbled to herself, "You little rascal! You just ran off without a second thought. Wait till you come back, I'll teach you a good lesson." The thing I was dreading finally happened. I never should have let on that I cared. Otherwise, Yan Ruyu would definitely, for a very long time, dare not come anywhere near me. He turned to look out the window. Wonder what that woman is up to right now. All she ever uses are dirty, underhanded tricks. As for who that woman is, it's Lin Chenchi, of course. She's already on the flight to Ice City right now. She's expected to land in an hour. There's my good girl. It's such a great thing that you became friends with Yan Qingxin. No matter if you get a little brother or sister later. Mom will never play favorites. Excitement glinted in her eyes behind the sunglasses. Yan Ruyu, you still think you can fight me? Eat my dust, loser. As for little Qingxin, don't blame Auntie for being cruel. It's just that your boyfriend is way too charming. Even though the little training props haven't arrived yet. She still decided to get a firm hold on me first. The strong are always good at seizing opportunities. Evening, Ice City Airport. Hey, Qingxin, are you sure she's coming alone? I scanned the surrounding crowd. Scared I would miss the target I was looking for. Yeah, she said she'd come by herself. It's no big deal to have one more person anyway. Let's go together, Yan Qingxin. She bought a loaf of bread on the way here. She's eating it right now. Her cheeks are puffed up like a little hamster's. Watching my carefree girlfriend still stuffing her face, I sighed quietly to myself. Soon, someone came out of the exit looking around everywhere. When she spotted our group, she waved at us really enthusiastically. Yan Qingxin waved back at her. When I looked over, I was instantly pretty surprised. Lin Tang was actually wearing women's clothes. Her hair was still in her usual style. A high ponytail tied up at the back of her head. She wore a short-sleeved t-shirt on top, with a sun protection jacket over it, and a backpack slung over her shoulders. She had a knee-length pleated skirt on the bottom. Her pale legs, which rarely see sunlight, were exposed. They looked almost translucent. They were really eye-catching. Lin Tang walked over with a big smile on her face. Hey, Qingxin, still eating, huh? You want some? No, it's fine. You go ahead and eat it. Seeing how she was forcing herself to offer it, even though she clearly didn't want to share. Lin Tang, how could she bear to steal bread from a total foodie? I gave my girlfriend a speechless glance. This girl is great in every way. except when it comes to food. She's weirdly obsessive about it. I turned to Lin Kang and asked, "Did you come alone?" For some reason, Lin Kang seemed a little nervous. She was even avoiding eye contact with me. Yeah, my mom wanted to come with me at first, but she had a work emergency come up halfway, so she had to leave first. Is that really the case? There was a hint of suspicion in my eyes. Yeah, that's right. I took Lin Kang's nervousness as guilt from lying, but then I thought again. From what I know about Lin Kang, if she was lying, her reaction would be way more obvious than this. That's when I noticed. Her legs under the skirt were fidgeting non-stop. I asked tentatively, "First time wearing a skirt?" Unused to having her secret thoughts called out like that. Lin Chang's cheeks flushed slightly. She lowered her head and mumbled. "My mom says women should wear women's clothes. Told me to wear less men's clothes from now on." I thought for a quick second. After all, when I'm dealing with this girl, I always need to do a little mental brainstorm first. After thinking for a moment, I nodded and said, your mom's right." After that, I treated Lin Kang and the two of us to a hot pot meal. The three of us chatted and laughed all the way to the hotel we booked. We got 2 adjacent rooms. Before going into her room, Yan Qingxin gave me a flirty look. The meaning behind it was pretty obvious. Honestly, this sneaking around feeling is actually kind of exciting. I couldn't help feeling a little excited too. It was a little past 10 p.m. I was playing on my phone when I heard a noise at the door. I knew it was her. I turned off my phone, pulled the covers up properly, pretended I was already asleep. The soft click of the door locking reached my ears. My heart started beating a little faster without me realizing it. The faint scuff of shoes against the carpet seemed like it was amplified several times over, as that sound, which felt like it was brushing right against my ear, got closer and closer. My heart was pounding harder and harder. I felt one side of the bed dip slightly. She must have put her knee on it. Then a hand pressed down on the covers, seeing that I seemed to be really asleep and wasn't fighting back. The figure got bolder and bolder. Her movements also got gradually rougher. She straddled the bed entirely. Both of her hands cupped my face. She gave me a soft peck on the lips, then moved to my ear. A familiar, soft but terrifying voice rang out. "Why are you being so good? Oh, little boy, why is it you?" Lin Chengxi's voice made my heart skip a beat. It felt like all the blood in my body froze instantly. My first instinct was to push her away, but she was prepared for this. There was no way she was giving up such a perfect position. My outstretched hand barely touched her shoulder before she grabbed it. Then with an irresistible force, she pinned it to either side of my head. Her grip was so strong that my wrist started to hurt. I couldn't see the expression of the woman on top of me in the dark. But judging from her heavy breathing, she was probably extremely excited. Her voice was soft but clearly filled with repressed excitement. She mumbled in my ear, "Why wouldn't it be me? I've been following you guys for a really long time. You're a total pervert." I was both shocked and furious. After I found out Lin Kang was coming, I immediately thought, Lin Chenxi must have put her up to it again. After we got to the airport, I was extra careful. I observed everything closely. I didn't let my guard down even after Lin Kang showed up alone. But why didn't I notice her at all? Where were you hiding? Even though I knew she couldn't see it, I still glared daggers at her. It was like she could feel my gaze. Lin Chenxi was filled with pure joy. That hidden destructive urge of hers was greatly satisfied. Even her voice was a little distorted with excitement. Where was I hiding? I wasn't hiding at all, silly. I got to the airport an hour earlier than Lin Kang. I was watching you guys the whole time. I was so mad at Lin Chengxi, I couldn't even get any words out. This woman's obsession was way beyond my imagination. I still haven't figured it out even now.
Why is this woman so determined to?
When I felt the sensation on my ear, I couldn't help shivering, but I bit down hard on my teeth to not make a single sound. That reaction only made Lin Chenxi even more excited. "Hey, Aunt Lin, can I ask you one last question? There's an old saying that goes, life is like being, if you can't fight it, you might as well enjoy it. Things have already come this far. I had completely no way to fight back anymore. Yell for help? I couldn't do that. If Yan Qingxin and Lin Kang found out about this, I just couldn't bear to cause conflict between them, seeing that I seemed to have given up resisting. Lin Chenxi kissed my cheek contentedly. "Fine, ask me why. It has to be me. You should know. If Lin Kang or Qingxin find out about this, none of us will get away unharmed. Why would you still do this even after I asked that question?" I could clearly feel the grip on my wrist loosen, but it still didn't let go of me. In the total darkness, the two of us fell into a brief, silent stalemate. Only the sound of slightly heavy breathing reached both our ears. I need a child who can inherit my position. I couldn't see her face clearly, but judging from her voice, her expression right now must be full of sorrow. Why would she look sad? Aunt Lin, is there something you're struggling with? I suddenly remembered that at the party, Lin Tang's reaction when she was asked about the heir. That reaction was really off. There was another long silence. I realized that Lin Chenxi seemed to be hit right in the soft spot by what I said. I decided to push a little harder. Maybe I could talk her out of it. Make her drop this idea. Aunt Lin, if you really are in a tough spot, you can tell me. I won't tell anyone else. I'll figure out a way to help you, okay? It's better than us being stuck like this.
Don't you think?
Walls have ears, you know. If someone finds out about this, I don't care about myself, but you're different. If this gets out, your reputation will be ruined. Even if you don't care about yourself, think about Lin Kang at least. She's so weak-willed. If she finds out about this, she might even kill herself. I deliberately exaggerated the seriousness of the situation, hoping I could dissuade Lin Chenxi this way. Too bad I still didn't know this woman well enough. How paranoid she was. Somehow my words didn't hit her soft spot at all. They seemed to anger her instead. I felt my wrist being gripped tightly again. I didn't even get to finish the rest of my sentence when a pair of soft lips pressed against mine, cutting me off. Even through the quilt, I could feel the immense pressure on my chest. My legs were pinned down, I couldn't move at all. I felt like I was trapped in a mass of soft, yet tough spider silk. No matter how hard I struggled, it only wrapped tighter around me. Noticing that my resistance was getting weaker and weaker, Lin Chenxi simply used one hand to pin both my hands above my head. The other hand touched my shoulder. The cold touch jolted me back to my senses a little. I forced my head to the side to pull away from her lips. Aunt Lin? We can't do this, we really can't. Lin Kang and the others are right next door. Lin Chenxi mumbled indistinctly. Wouldn't that make it more exciting? I was speechless for a moment. This woman's level of perversion is totally on par with Yan Ryu. Lin Chenxi lifted her leg slightly. I just tried to move when she pressed me down again. This time I could clearly feel it. Wait, what's on her leg? She's actually not wearing any... It's finally come to this. Lin Chenxi's impatient voice reached my ears. You'll know everything later, little boy. I'll make it up to you too. Don't blame me, okay? Click, click. Just when everything was about to happen, the sound of the doorknob turning echoed through the room. That's when I finally remembered why I left the door unlocked. I whispered urgently, Get up quick, Xing Xing is here. Lin Chenxi was also startled by the sound. Her mind went blank for a second. I wrenched my hand free from hers and pushed her away. Hurry, find a place to hide. Xing Xing can't find you here. After a flurry of chaotic movements, I straightened my clothes and fumbled my way to the door in the dark. I opened the door and Yan Qingxin complained, Baby, I told you to leave the door unlocked for me, right? Don't you want me to come over? I was caught between a rock and a hard place right then. If I let her in, we're totally screwed if she finds Lin Chenxi. But if I send her away, there's an even scarier woman inside the room. Seeing my rare troubled expression and noticing the lights were off inside, Yan Qingxin said suspiciously, Baby, you're not hiding someone in there, are you? I totally forgot. My girlfriend's sixth sense is ridiculously accurate, like a game glitch. Yan Qingxin squinted slightly. She was just teasing me on purpose. Of course, she didn't think there was actually anyone hiding there. It was just a joke. But who would have thought she'd hit the nail on the head? She actually guessed right. At this point, if I kept blocking her from coming in, it would look like I had something to hide. I slowly stepped aside and let Yan Qingxin walk in. All I hoped for right now was that Lin Chenxi would hurry up and find a spot to hide properly. Baby, why didn't you turn on the light? You're not hiding something, are you? Of course I'm not. Yan Qingxin moved fast. With a click, the light came on. Everything in the room was now clearly visible. She glanced around the room once. Yan Qingxin turned back and hummed. Nothing. I was completely soaked in cold sweat. My heart was pounding like crazy. I now knew exactly what it feels like to be so scared your legs go weak. I swallowed hard a few times without meaning to, and said as calmly as I could, See? There's no one here, Qing Qing. How could you suspect me? That hurts my feelings so much. Yan Qingqing hugged me with a slightly apologetic look on her face. Aw, baby. I was just joking with you, okay? Come on, don't be mad. I'm sorry, Ching Ching. I really had no choice in this. I didn't dare look Yan Ching Ching in the eye. I was too ashamed to. After scolding myself harshly in my head, I secretly glanced around the room, guessing that Lin Chenchi must have hidden in the wardrobe. Thank God, thank God. She probably won't open the wardrobe, right? I let out a long sigh of relief. But of course, just when you think everything is fine, something unexpected always happens. My heart, which had just calmed down, leaped into my throat again because of one sentence from Yan Ching Ching. Oh, right, baby. You still have an extra set of pajamas here, right? That silly girl Lin Kang got her pajamas wet when she was taking a shower. I'll grab a set from you. Lin Chengxi, look at what your good daughter did. Is she trying to kill you or kill me? As she said that, Yan Qingxin reached out to open the wardrobe. Stopping her right now would definitely not work. I had no excuse to. There was only one thing I could do. The second Yan Qingqing's hand pulled open the wardrobe door. Click, the room went dark again. Baby, why did you turn off the light? Yan Qingqing looked confusedly in my direction. She didn't see Lin Chenxi at all, who was pale as a sheet and hugging herself tightly. I didn't answer her. I just closed the door behind me with my backhand and walked quickly over to Yan Qingqing. Qingqing, hurry up! I can't wait any longer. Seeing her boyfriend so impatient, Yan Qingqing was naturally very happy. You're that eager, baby? Hurry up! Okay, is it because Lin Kang is next door that you're in such a hurry? Yan Qingqing asked with a soft laugh. I was suffering inside but couldn't say a word about it. It was exciting, that's for sure. It was just really bad for my heart. But right at that moment, I felt someone touching my ear. The touch came from above my head, and my head was facing right towards the wardrobe. Lin Chenxi, are you fucking crazy? This level of excitement isn't just a simple 1 + 1 = 2. It's basically 3 or even higher. This useless wife of mine comes home every day saying she's exhausted. She makes all kinds of excuses every time we're supposed to be intimate. I used to think it was because she worked so hard, until she brought a female CEO home. That's when I realized this was the start of my worst nightmare. Dealing with a mother-in-law was already bad enough as it is. Now a female CEO shows up out of nowhere. I've been a coward my whole life. But today, in this matriarchal world where women outnumber men, I'm going to be a useful, capable husband. Just a moment ago, I was lying on the bed, waiting for my wife to come over. But little did I know, that female CEO snuck into my bedroom secretly. I thought it was my wife, so I let her do as she pleased. But then there was a knock on the door. That was when I realized the person in front of me wasn't my wife. It was the female CEO, so I had to make her hide in the closet. But what I never expected was, when I was being intimate with my wife, the CEO was actually touching my ear. Her hand came from the direction above my head, and my head was facing right toward the closet. I was cursing Lin Chenxi like crazy in my head. Are you fucking insane? The thrill here isn't just 1 + 1 = 2. It's literally 3 or even more. I bit down on my jaw as hard as I could, trying not to make a single sound. But my body was trembling more and more violently. Yan Qingxin thought it was all because of her, so she tried even harder. I swear my heart rate was at least 180 right then, seemingly annoyed that I was keeping my mouth shut. 2 fingers plugged my nostrils, 1 on each side. It's not like my hands were tied up. I just didn't dare move an inch right now, scared that even the tiniest move would alert Yan Qingxin. Less than half a minute later, I finally couldn't hold it anymore and opened my mouth. That little tongue slipped right in at that chance. The worst part was I didn't dare bite down. If Lin Chenxi cried out from the pain, everything would be ruined. After a long while in the silent room, Yan Qingxin's slightly labored drinking sounds echoed out. At the same time, I clearly felt Lin Chenxi pause her movements. Then she slowly pulled away. Wait, you can still take that in, right? Lin Chenxi was truly shocked by Yan Qingxin's actions. She also knew this girl really loved me. She would do anything for me. Have I really gone too far? She fell into a moment of self-reflection. But it only lasted for a split second. But why do I feel even more turned on? Lin Chenxi had never felt this way before in her life. Not even that time in the hotel, when that girl was lying behind her back then. No, baby. There's so much again. My whole body was numb. As Lin Chenxi pulled away, my taut body went limp and weak right away. Rustling sounds echoed through the room. It was the sound of Yan Qingxin taking off her clothes. I felt a soft, warm body wrap around me in a hug. We were hugging face to face, baby. Am I good or what? You're amazing. Yan Qingxin was totally caught up in the moment. She didn't pick up on the fact that I didn't mean it at all. Just when I thought, that woman wouldn't pull any more little stunts, I felt an itchy tickle on the sole of my foot from hair brushing against it. No way, are you serious? Lin Chengxi had snuck around the bed to my feet. First, she teased the sole of my foot with her hair. When I couldn't stand the tickle anymore and moved my foot, she grabbed my ankle. Yan Kingston stroked my soft hair. She leaned close to my ear and murmured, "Baby, does having someone next door turn you on this much?" Pervert, my cheek twitched uncontrollably. Thinking about the crazy stuff that just happened, I couldn't help thinking Qingxin was right. Maybe I really am a pervert. I'm not the pervert here. Lin Chengxi, just you wait. I said I was shy as an excuse. I stopped Yan Qingxin from going further, which earned me a bunch of teasing from her. She got dressed in the dark, took her pajamas, and left. The room fell silent again. Only the faint scent of shinanhua lingered, proof of what just happened here. I turned on the light. My eyes were red with rage, looking for that reckless, impulsive woman. Lin Chengxi was curled up on the floor next to the bed, panting heavily. This feeling she had never experienced before had left her whole body weak and limp, especially at the end. She almost couldn't resist reaching out to hug me right in front of her, but the last of her common sense stopped her from doing that stupid suicidal thing. The sudden bright light hurt her eyes so she could barely open them. When her eyes adjusted, she saw me standing right in front of her. My bloodshot eyes made it clear I was furious. It wasn't just my eyes either. There was something else that made it obvious. I was extremely worked up. A seductive smile tugged at the corner of Lin Chengxi's mouth. Her almond-shaped eyes stared right at me. She slowly shifted her body and crawled closer to me, looking up at the man she was determined to have. This kind of submissive, flattering gesture was something she had never done before. She was very unused to it, but she had to do this right now. Lin Chengxi was different from Yan Ruyu. She knew when to bend and when to stand her ground. If she acted all tough and stubborn in this situation, it would only backfire on her, even though they hadn't spent much time together. She could already tell. I was the type who responded better to kindness than force. What's more, when it came to relationships, I always liked to be the one in control. How hard could that be? Just give him what he wants, that's all. She wrapped her arms around my leg, pressed her entire upper body against it. Is my little guy angry? It's Sister's fault, okay? But Sister really couldn't help herself. Can you forgive Sister just this once? Worst comes to worst. Whatever you want to do. Sister will do whatever you say, okay? Her soft voice carried a faint, delicate note of sadness. Let's just say Lin Chengxi still didn't know me well enough. Under normal circumstances, I do prefer kindness over harshness. But this was far from a normal situation. A cruel smirk tugged at the corner of my mouth. Those are your words, Sister Lin. Don't go back on them later, okay? When she heard that form of address, Lin Chengxi even relaxed a little in her mind. She thought I'd just ask for some sort of humiliating favor at worst. She could just grit her teeth and get through it. But when she saw the look on my face, Lin Chengxi realized she was wrong. Dead wrong. She had always played the role of the hunter before, chasing after me relentlessly, determined to have me completely for herself. Now, because of her own stupid actions, she had voluntarily handed over all the power. Now that the roles were reversed, she finally realized that beneath that handsome, sunny face, there was no gentle, kind soul. Trapped inside that seemingly weak body was a ferocious wild beast. Both her hands and feet were tied up. Lin Chengxi, spread eagle on the ground, panicked. She had no idea what I was going to do. She had always thought she would be the one in control. Now that their roles had switched, this feeling of losing control of the situation made her extremely uneasy. I have no idea either. Why the hell there's rope in a hotel room? But it works out perfectly. Tonight I have to give this woman a lesson she'll never forget for the rest of her life. Otherwise, she'll keep coming to bother me every chance she gets. One Yan Ruyu was already hard enough to deal with. If I have to deal with another one just as bad or even worse, that'll be the death of me. What's wrong, Sister Lin? You look like something's off. Are you scared? If you are, we can stop right here. I'll pretend you never said what you said earlier. I taunted. It wasn't that Lin Chengxi was scared. She just wasn't used to this. But things had already gone this far. There was no way she could back down now. The same comforting look was still on her face. A soft, gentle smile. Of course, Sister isn't scared. I just don't know what my little guy wants to do.
Can you tell, Sister?
You're making Sister all antsy. She twisted her whole body as she spoke. swaying back and forth with her movements. My eye was twitching just watching her. I had guessed what her size was before. Seeing it so intuitively right now, just as I expected, my gaze shifts to the long trench coat discarded aside. Hey sis Lin, did you come here wearing only this one piece of clothing? You don't have some weird fetish, do you? Lin Chengxi clenched her teeth and looked away. Of course she doesn't have that kind of hobby. She booked a room next door. It's just 2 steps away. Of course she wouldn't wear much. She just would never tell me about it, that's all. You're pretty tough talking, huh? I just love people who are tough talking. I hope every mouth on your body is this tough. Lin Chenxi froze for a moment. She didn't get what mouths on your body meant at first, but she understood the very next second. Sis Lin, you... Why don't you scream out? What, are you scared of disturbing the next room? How ridiculous. You weren't like this just now. Didn't you say it was exciting? Answer me! I slapped her hard across the face. On her snow-white skin, a deep red mark was added once again. Lin Chengxi couldn't hold it back after all. She let out a soft whimper. There we go, that's more like it. Scream it out. It won't hurt once you let it out. It'll even feel very comfortable instead. Isn't that right? I don't know how long passed. I had no intention of stopping at all. Lin Chengxi, who was having trouble breathing, her consciousness became blurry again. I stood with my back to the light, hanging over her heart like a nightmare. What kind of person did I provoke anyway? She slowly closed her eyes. A drop of tear of humiliation fell from the corner of her eye. I was stunned for a second. Then I grinned savagely and said, crying counts against your time, you know? Lin Chengxi, who was devastated both physically and mentally, after hearing these merciless words, fainted completely. 2 a.m. I untied the rope, wiped off the remaining teardrops from the corner of her eyes. After all, I'm not a thoroughly evil person. The anger in my heart, when Lin Chengxi fainted from crying, had already faded by that time. I didn't do anything else after that. I shook my head helplessly. I hope you can learn a lesson this time. Cover her with the quilt properly. Put on my clothes. I planned to go out for some fresh air. To calm down. When I grabbed the door handle, I suddenly remembered something. I said without turning back, I'll be back later. I don't want to see anyone in this room when I return. I wasn't sure if Lin Chengxi had woken up, just in case. Not long after the door closed, the woman on the bed curled up into a ball. Only soft sobs could be heard in the quiet room. At this moment, I was leaning against a row of railings not far from the hotel, thinking about the 2 women who had ill intentions towards me. I felt a headache coming on, Yan Ruyu, that I can explain as a fated bad romance. But what's up with Lin Chengxi? I kept replaying the interactions I had with her. I couldn't figure it out at all. Why she would be interested in me. There was one thing she said earlier that bothered me. What did she mean by needing a child? Just have one if she wants it. In this world, it's not like women can't have kids on their own, so the only possibility is that she can't do it herself. I seem to have figured out the crux of the problem. As for why she targeted me, I have no idea. And I don't want to know. Like I said before, one Yan Ruyu is already hard enough to deal with. Having another one would literally kill me. Thinking of this, I couldn't help shivering. I rubbed my arms. The seaside night is really a bit cold. Let's go back if she hasn't woken up. No, she has to be awake. On my way back, I ran into 3 women. They were dead drunk. Their clothes were disheveled. They were stumbling around. Walking towards me from the opposite direction, they were wearing heavy makeup. It was obvious they just finished clubbing at some nightclub. Even from far away, I could smell the strong scent of alcohol. I frowned slightly. I quickened my pace, planning to get far away from them as soon as possible. Hey, what a handsome little guy! Why are you wandering around outside at this hour? The woman in leopard print and black stockings took a few quick steps to block my way forward. She was kind of good looking. Her face was flushed from drinking. If it were any other man, he'd probably be trembling so bad. He couldn't even speak properly. But not me. My gaze quickly swept across the 3 of them. I worked out an escape route in my head instantly. At the same time, I put on a slightly scared, forced smile. I have something to do. I'm just heading back now. Could you please make way for me, sis? Looking at the handsome man in front of her, calling her sis like a frightened little lamb, the woman felt her heart almost melting. The corners of her mouth couldn't stop lifting. Aw, you have such a sweet mouth, little guy. Heh. The woman wiped her mouth, putting on what she thought was a kind smile, but it looked like the smile of a total creep. It's this late little guy. It's so unsafe for you to be alone. Come on, go with sis. I'll show you something nice. That's not good. My mom told me not to go with Gear sisters. Do I look like a bad person to you? Come on. The other two women also came over at this point. They also looked at me with lovesick expressions on their faces. Let's go, let's go. We'll protect you. It's totally safe, one of the women said as she tried to reach for me. Then she was stopped by the first woman. What do you mean? I saw him first. What do you mean you saw him first? We all saw him together, okay? Then why didn't you come say hi first? Besides, the SS he called was me. You should just go home. Didn't your mom call you 1,000,000 times already to rush you back? She can rush all she wants. I think you just want to keep him all to yourself. You did the same thing last time? I raised an eyebrow when I heard that. So they do this all the time, huh? While the two of them were arguing, the third woman tried to sneak up and grab me. What are you doing? My yell threw them into complete chaos. Then I followed the escape route I planned earlier and ran like hell. But I only ran a few steps before someone grabbed me by the back collar and tackled me to the ground. What's going on? That can't be right. Weren't you guys totally drunk? A string of questions popped up in my head. The voice coming from behind immediately answered my questions. Hey, you thought you could run away? I used to be on the school track team, you know? You think you can outrun me? The woman in leopard print and black stockings pinned me down under her. She said proudly to the two women catching up behind her. I caught him. I got him first. No objections, right? I sighed silently. I wasn't scared, actually. I just felt a little regretful. I should have just hooked up with Lin Chen-shi or whatever. After all, that woman is totally my type. Being held down by three women way stronger than me, I had completely no way to escape. Two of them held my arms, one on each side. The other one was sneaking around, looking around ahead. After all, they knew what they were doing. They definitely couldn't let anyone find out. Don't be scared, little guy. We'll let you leave tomorrow, okay? The woman next to her also chimed in. Yeah. I'm not bragging. I'm known as the Club Mandrainer. It lasts for ages, no lie. It'll make you feel like you're floating on air. I couldn't stop the corner of my mouth from twitching. If I said I didn't find this weird deep down, I'd be totally lying. Quit talking out of your ass. Remember last time? Wonder who it was. That didn't even last 3 minutes, before getting taken down by that young guy at the bar. Kept babbling, I can't. Take a break? The girl in leopard print and black stockings rolled her eyes at her over her shoulder and mocked her with a laugh. Yeah, you can do it or you can't. No excuses if you can't. What's this take a break nonsense about? She noticed I was glancing at her with clear disdain. The woman's already flushed face turned even redder. Come on, I was just off my game that day, okay? I'll show you what I'm really made of today. Yeah, sure you will. Right. Under the pitch-black night sky, 3 women and 1 man were walking along the road. Suddenly, a beam of light shone up ahead. It looked like someone was riding a motorcycle towards us. I was just about to scream for help when a hand clamped over my mouth. At the same time, the 3 women surrounded me, so the rider wouldn't spot me. Through the gaps between their bodies, all I saw under the street lamp was a flash of wine-red hair that vanished in an instant. Just a little while ago, I'd been kidnapped by 3 delinquent girls. I tried to ask for help from the red-haired woman on the motorcycle in front of me. But she didn't stop at all and sped away quickly. The woman in leopard print and black stockings pinched my cheek. Oh, you wanted to call for help? Pfft, as if that would ever work. You sneaky little boy. You're gonna behave and serve us well tonight. Got it? We walked for about half an hour before they brought me to a rented apartment. The place was a total mess. Clothes were strewn all over the place. All kinds of stuff lying around. You two keep an eye on him. You can mess around a little if you want, but I have to be the first to know, yeah? With that, the woman headed to the bathroom. From the faint muscle definition on her body, you could easily tell this woman used to be on the school track and field team. I'd completely given up resisting by this point, so I actually had the time to wonder about silly stuff like this. One of the women widened her eyes, nodding at the other to take a look. We really hit the jackpot, huh? Do we really only get him for 1 night? 2 nights wouldn't be so bad either, right? What do you think, little boy? Hell no, that's what I think. I don't even want to stay here for 1 night. That's what I thought to myself. But I obviously couldn't say that out loud. Ladies, can you please let me go? If I don't go home, my family might call the police. The one nicknamed Juicer poked my forehead with her finger. You're lying, little boy. You're out wandering the streets at 2 a.m. If you said your family would report you missing tomorrow, I'd believe you. But tonight? These girls actually have half a brain. Whatever. Just my rotten luck running into this crap. Seeing I wasn't talking, they got even bolder with their moves, just as her hand was about to touch me. There was a loud knock on the door. The two women exchanged a look. Who is it? Who could be coming at this hour? Humming could be heard from the bathroom. Someone was happily humming an unknown tune. Tonight's my lucky night. Found such a perfect little guy. I'm definitely gonna have fun with him. The more she thought about it, the more impatient she got. She rinsed off quickly and walked out of the bathroom. But the scene in front of her left her stunned. On the sofa that her two friends had somehow cleared off, sat a woman who looked completely out of place against the messy surroundings. Her long wine-red hair draped over her shoulders, covering one of her eyes, but even that couldn't hide her stunning looks. She stubbed her cigarette out in the ashtray, her diamond-studded silver bracelet clinking against the ceramic. Her crossed long legs swayed gently to an unheard rhythm. Behind the sofa stood two tall, well-built women, wearing sunglasses, and the little guy they'd kidnapped was sitting right next to her. Who are you people? What are you doing in my apartment? I swear I'll call the police. As soon as the words left her mouth, her voice was trembling slightly. Anyone could see what was going on here. This little guy was almost certainly with this woman, and she'd obviously made a huge mistake. A massive, huge mistake. This red-haired woman was, of course, Zhao Rong. She always got home at this time every night, and she just happened to pass that coastal road on her way. I spotted her in a flash, and of course she saw me too. She had been really impressed by this young guy who'd helped her land a huge business deal, and remembered him clearly, putting together the time, location, and the behavior of those three women. It was obvious something was wrong. She followed them quietly all the way, and found things were pretty much what she'd suspected. Jorong didn't even lift her eyelids. Call the police? Sure. Let's figure out who the police will arrest first when they get here. Oh, right. Kidnapping. Unlawful detention. Attempted indecent assault. Maybe you already did it too. I turned my head, ready to argue that nothing had happened, that none of that was true. But Zhaorong pushed my head and turned it back around. This woman was so strong. Every time Zhaorong said another charge, that woman's legs got weaker. Finally, she slid down against the door and sat on the floor. Seeing she'd lost the will to resist with just a few words, Zhaorong didn't even bother to make a move. She pulled me up and walked towards the door. She gave her underlings a look when she walked out, then closed the door behind her. We got downstairs. I instinctively looked up at the apartment. Sister Rong, you're not gonna go too far, right? It'd be bad if someone dies. Zhaorong waved a finger in front of me. Little Lou, don't run your mouth like that. Murder is against the law, you know. We're just gonna teach them a little lesson. As long as we don't lay a hand on them, none of it has anything to do with us. Zhaorong swung her leg over the motorcycle and sat down. Because of the way she was sitting, her skirt rode up, showing the pale, soft skin above her stockings on her thigh. But that wasn't what I was paying attention to. Sister Rong, you're wearing high heels. Are you sure that's okay? The only response I got from Zhaorong was an annoyed eye roll. You gonna get on or not? If not, you can walk home by yourself. Yes, thank you, Sister Rong. I already have trauma from walking alone at night now. Sister Rong, drive slowly, okay? We don't even have helmets. Pfft. Hair got in my mouth. I regretted getting on as soon as she started driving. I would have been better off walking home. This terrifying sense of speed was no better than running into a drunk guy while walking alone at night. If you're scared, just hold on tighter. I don't like people who dither. Drive slowly? Yeah, right, you're insane. Anyone who races motorcycles is a total maniac. Scared I'd fall off, I could only press myself against her back, wrapping both arms tightly around her waist. My arm was pressed against her waist, and I could feel the firm, flexible muscles under her clothes. No wonder she runs a nightclub. This physical fitness, she could probably beat 2 versions of my past self easily. A trip that would usually take half an hour, with the roar of the engine in my ears, only took less than 5 minutes to arrive. As soon as I got off the bike, my legs almost gave out and I fell to the ground. Jorong moved quickly to try and help me up. No, I'm fine. I'm okay, I said, waving my hand. I held onto the railing and stretched my legs a little. I felt better soon enough. Seeing this, Zhaorong raised her eyebrows involuntarily. She dislikes weak people, regardless of their gender. As for the kid in front of her, whether he's faking it or being genuine, at least he looks pretty pleasant to her. She turned to glance at the hotel not far away. Xiaoyong took out a cigarette. Click. Oh, you're back for the holiday? I turned my head and saw her. Looking at how she carried herself, pretty wasn't an accurate enough description. To be exact, this lady was so cool and badass. Yeah, I brought my girlfriend back to show her where I grew up. I didn't expect to run into this when I came out for some fresh air at midnight. Girlfriend, huh? You didn't tell her what you used to do, did you? I froze and blurted out the truth instinctively. I'd completely forgotten. This lady knew every single detail of my past. I smiled helplessly. The message was self-evident. Zhaorong shot me a sharp look, making no effort to hide the hint of contempt in her eyes. Of course, I knew exactly what she was getting at. After all, I used to do that kind of work before. Now I'm in college, dating someone and hiding that past from her. That's really dishonest, honestly. Forget it. I'm not in a position to judge you anyway. I was the one who hooked you up with that job in the first place. The awkward silence lasted until Zhaorong finished her cigarette. She stamped out the cigarette butt, flipped the hem of her skirt out of the way, and swung her leg over the motorcycle. She brushed her long hair back behind her head. She suddenly asked me a random question out of the blue. Oh, right. Are you still in touch with Yanryu? That question took me by surprise and made my heart lurch. I shook my head. No. I had no idea how close Zhaolong was to Yanryu. All they'd mentioned back then was that they had business dealings. Xiaorong nodded. All right. Treat your girlfriend well? She drove off. I watched until her taillights vanished at the end of the road, before I finally snapped out of my daze. It seemed she really had just asked the question offhand. You could tell from her undisguised contempt that she was the type who said exactly what was on her mind and did exactly what she wanted. A really straightforward, outgoing person. I walked quickly into the hotel, still turning over the day's events in my head. All in all, I'd found 2 possible ticking time bombs. Yun Shuyao knew that such a woman existed, but she didn't know that woman was Yan Qingxin's mother. Zhaorong knew I had a girlfriend, but she didn't know that girlfriend was Yan Ruyu's daughter. When you think about it that way, if Yun Shuyao and Zhaorong ever compared notes, I'd be totally screwed, right? But there's no way that'd happen. What would those two even have in common? I laughed at myself. I was just scaring myself for no reason. Haiwan residential area. Zhaorong parked her motorcycle in the garage, took the elevator up to the 35th floor, and stopped in front of apartment 3502. She pressed her finger to the fingerprint lock and walked inside. She saw the lights were on in the living room and froze for a second, then immediately remembered she didn't live alone anymore. She walked to the kitchen. A girl was sitting on a chair, her face propped in her hands, dozing off. She didn't notice Zhaorong come in at all. Seeing her like this again when she got home, a soft look crossed Zhaorong's face. Along with a helpless smile, she'd told this kid so many times already. There was no need to wait up for her. She stepped forward and patted the girl's shoulder gently. Xiaoyao, Xiaoyao! Wake up, don't sleep here. The girl opened her eyes sleepily. Oh, Aunt Rong, you're back. I made kanji, have some before you go to bed. As she spoke, Yun Shuyao stood up and walked to the stove, picked up the insulated clay pot and set it on the dining table, then took out a pair of chopsticks and a bowl. The entire time, Zhaorong just wore a soft expression, watching quietly. Without saying a word, she'd already said things like telling her not to bother with all this so many times before, but it never worked. The kid still always waited for her to get home, then made her eat something before letting her go to bed. Sigh, if only you were a boy. Her sigh caught Yun Shuyao's attention. What's wrong, Aunt Rong? Are you having trouble with work? No, I was just thinking, if only you were a boy, Xiaoyao. I could adopt you, and you wouldn't have to go back to that family ever again. But since you're a girl, the old lady probably won't agree to let you go. Yun Shuyao hung her head, her face completely expressionless, so no one could tell what she was thinking. Zhaorong picked up the spoon and took a sip of kanji. Have you eaten yet? Want some? No, I'm good. Thanks, Aunt Rong. I'm heading to bed first. Just leave the dishes in the sink when you're done. I'll wash them tomorrow. Zhaorong watched as Yun Shuyao walked slowly back to her room, then turned back to look at the kanji in her bowl. She and Yun Shuyao's mother were cousins. She should call her older cousin. Inside the bedroom, Yun Shuyao was looking at a photo on her phone. The main subject of the photo was a library. There weren't many people inside, only a blurry figure in the corner of the photo. She turned off the screen, a faint smile tugging at the corner of her mouth, and slowly fell asleep. Good night. The voice sounded like a sleep-talk murmur. No one knew who she was talking to. I was screwed, but not because Yun Shuyao and Zhaorong had met up. It was because as soon as I stepped through the hotel entrance, Yan Qingxin's call came in Guilty as I was, I hesitated before pressing the answer button. Where have you been? Come back quick. I need to talk to you about something. Her tone was very cold. I was just about to ask what was wrong. When she hung up, she didn't even call me babe. Did she find out about that woman? Yang Kingson's attitude was really off. Ever since we met, she had never spoken to me in such a cold tone before. She must have found out about something to act like this. The only possibility was Lin Chengxi had told her what I did earlier, ratted me out. That was totally possible. If Yan Qingxian found out, Lin Xiang would definitely know too. Then, to keep from ruining his image in his daughter's eyes, it made perfect sense for him to pin the blame on me. I sighed heavily. I knew it. Getting involved with that woman would only bring trouble. I walked to the door with a pit in my stomach. I was just about to tap my keycard when I noticed the door was left slightly ajar. I swallowed hard, pushed the door open, and walked in. Kingshan, are you here? Don't turn on the light. Close the door properly. Come here. This time her voice wasn't that cold, but there was a hint of excitement in her tone. What's done is done. I didn't want to argue with her over such a small thing. I closed the door properly and walked over to the bed in the dark. Before I could finish saying Xing Xing, the figure rushed forward and hugged me tight. Where did you go? It's so late. Do you have any idea how worried I was? Why didn't you let me know? Before you went out alone? It's so dangerous. As she held me tight, I heard my girlfriend's voice, thick with tears. Full of concern next to my ear, I understood why she didn't turn on the light now. She must have cried from worrying so much, and didn't want me to see, feeling how much she cared about me. All my anxiety vanished instantly. I wrapped my arms around her in return. My voice soft. I'm sorry, Qingshan. I couldn't fall asleep, and I was a little hot, so I went out to get some fresh air. Geez, don't make me It's so late at night. What would I do if something happened to you? I could clearly feel her trembling slightly, which meant she was really scared. I pressed my forehead against hers. I promise I'll tell you wherever I go from now on, okay? Don't worry anymore. I'm back now, aren't I? I patted her back gently, trying to comfort her. But the next question Yan Qingqing asked made me freeze up completely. Who is that woman in red? And why is your bed so wet? Maybe I can muddle through the first question. But what do I do about the second one? Forget it. I'll try to distract her with the first one. Ahem, I cleared my throat, pretending to be awkward about bringing it up. Hey, Qingqing. Don't get mad when I tell you, okay? Yan Qingqing pinched my ear. She pulled me a little away from her. Go on, I won't get mad. You say you won't get mad. Does this look like you're not mad? I calmed myself down. That woman is a senior I worked with at a part-time job before. You know my situation. I need to work part-time to pay for school, right? I know. So she's just a senior, that's all. Why would I be mad about that? It's just that she used to have a crush on me and took good care of me. After I felt the strength of her grip increase noticeably, I quickly changed my tune. I never said yes to her. Her family is rich. I'm way out of her league. People would call me a gold digger otherwise. Yan Qingqing was so amused by that she laughed through her annoyance. You're so annoying. Well, my family is rich too. Why aren't you scared of that? Well, you tricked me, didn't you? If you had told me about your family background at the beginning, I would never have agreed to date you. I said in a tone of great regret. It's too late to back out now. You're mine already. Don't even think about running away. You're not going anywhere. Seeing she was back to her usual self, I breathed a sigh of relief. Sorry, Sister Wrong. I need you to take the fall for me this time. If I get the chance later, I'll definitely apologize to you in person. I silently apologized to Zhao. Wrong in my head, then I asked Qingqing, why are you here? What about Lin Kang? Is she okay by herself? If I hadn't brought it up, she would have completely forgotten. Once she had nothing else to do, she saw that Lin Kang was fast asleep. Yan Qingqing wanted to come over again. She snuck over to my door. She was just about to knock. When she noticed the door was unlocked, she pushed the door open and didn't see anyone inside. That made Yan Qingqing really anxious. She subconsciously looked downstairs. And she actually spotted me, but she didn't expect there to be another woman. Right next to me, she watched for a while and saw we weren't doing anything inappropriate. So Yan Qingqing didn't go over. After all, that would make her look petty and might embarrass me too. All the stuff that just happened made Yan Qingqing completely forget about Lin Kang. Now that I brought it up, she immediately felt a little awkward. Seeing she couldn't answer, I realized she'd forgotten about it. Hurry back and check if she's woken up. Fine, after all that commotion. I'd lost all my mood for anything else. She gave me a light kiss on the lips. Then Yan Qingqing went back to the next room. I lay down on the bed and let out a long breath. That night was way too much. Oh, right. I just closed my eyes when I suddenly sat up. I got out of bed and turned on the light. I have to check every inch of this place thoroughly. To see if there's a third person in this room, I checked every spot in the room where someone could hide. After confirming Lin Chenxi wasn't in the room, I finally relaxed and collapsed onto the bed. But right away I felt a damp sensation on my back, which made me frown. How on earth did that woman make such a huge mess? I'm not admitting I was the one who did it. At most it was self-defense. It's not my fault at all. The next day, the three of us kept sightseeing and having fun in Ice City. We didn't run into Yun Shuiyao this time, or Zhao Rong either. Even Lin Chenxi seemed to have truly disappeared. To sum it up in 2 words, totally great. Time flew by quickly, until the new semester started. I went back to my rental apartment after a long absence. I got to the 3rd floor. I subconsciously glanced at the next door, and saw that the door next door was left open, and there were waves of something burning coming from inside. Oh crap, did that drunk get wasted again and set the place on fire? Worried something was wrong, I yanked the door open. But the scene inside immediately left me dumbfounded. Inside the room, thin black smoke was drifting out. What on earth is this person up to? I was just about to step inside when I realized the mess inside was way beyond description. I thought before, the 3 women who kidnapped me were messy enough. I never expected my neighbor across the hall was even worse. I finally made it to the bedroom door after much difficulty. I looked inside and finally realized what she was doing. I was completely blown away. Just now, I came home and saw black smoke coming from next door. I thought something bad had happened. I walked to her kitchen door and peeked inside. I finally figured out what she was doing. All right, next step. Prepare the seasoning sauce. The voice came from a cooking tutorial video playing on her phone. I silently glanced at the smoking iron wok next to her. It was all black inside. I had no idea what was burning in there. I had so many complaints I didn't know where to start. I really couldn't get any words out. Yu Baiwei had her back to the kitchen door at that moment. The stove was to her left rear. She was probably home alone, so she was dressed very casually. Her smooth, fair back was completely exposed. I got quite an eyeful, but of course I didn't forget why I came in. Miss Yu, could you please check what's in the wok? The sudden voice from behind gave her a big scare. She fumbled to turn off the stove. She breathed a sigh of relief, patted her chest, and turned to look at me. Thank you so much. If it weren't for you, this wok would be ruined again. Maybe you should first change your clothes. I looked away slightly. Seeing my reaction, Yu Baiwei finally realized what was going on. A bright blush spread from her neck all the way to the tip of her ear. It wasn't that she was shy, but she remembered how she looked right now, and how messy the house was. She felt extremely embarrassed for a moment. Wait here, don't move! I'll go tidy up a bit. She awkwardly pushed me into the kitchen and closed the door. Right after that, I heard clattering noises from outside, along with some whimpering sounds. About half an hour later, the kitchen door slowly opened. Yu Baiwei had already put on clothes. Well, put on clothes. Actually, she only put on a top. I don't know if she did it on purpose. She was wearing a tight yellow Pikachu short-sleeve shirt. The Pikachu's face was stretched really wide, and the 2 red spots on its cheeks were even sticking out a little. What are you doing? Yu Baiwei still looked a little awkward and uncomfortable, but her eyes lit up immediately when she saw me cooking. She still remembers the taste of that hangover soup I made to this day. Came over to my side and peered into the pot. Her eyes were filled with pure admiration. It smells amazing. What are you cooking? Is this for me? I looked away from the Pikachu pattern on her clothes. Yep, I figured if I didn't cook them, you would just waste all those ingredients. Yu Baiwei was caught off guard by my blunt words. Her face froze for a second. Then she chuckled softly. Hey, I just started learning, okay? Those mistakes are just part of the learning cost. I walked out of the kitchen and saw the spotless living room. I was slightly taken aback. The place was a total mess just a moment ago, but it's now all tidied up neatly. Hey! Yu Baiwei coughed awkwardly twice. I didn't know you were coming over. It's not usually this messy here. A few friends came over for a party last night. I looked at her skeptically, but didn't call her out on the lie. All right, come have a taste. Okay. Yubaiwe couldn't wait to pick up her chopsticks, grabbed a piece of meat and popped it into her mouth. That's so good. Seeing her reaction, I smiled and ate a few bites myself. Then I asked her, Miss Yu, do you hate Qingxin? Yubaiwe, who was still munching away blankly, felt her heart skip a beat. He really did notice that day, huh? He's such a perceptive person.
Have you met Yan Ruyu?
Asked out of the blue like that. I thought she might have found out something. I unconsciously squeezed my fingers under the table. But then I thought again, if she really knew the truth, she would have shown a shocked reaction way earlier. Judging by how she's acting now, this question probably has nothing to do with my secret. Yeah, I have. Qingxin took me to meet her a few days ago. So what do you think of her? Yubaiwe lifted her head, staring right at me intently. Her eyes were filled with complicated emotions. I couldn't make out what she was feeling, but my gut told me this question meant a lot to the woman in front of me. She's really excellent. So excellent that I don't even have the slightest thought of comparing myself to her.
Yeah, she really is that outstanding.
A bitter smile tugged at the corner of Yubaiwe's mouth. Let me tell you a story. The Yan and Yu families have always been very close. Yubaiwe was born a few years later than Yan Ruyu. When they were little, she was always like a little sidekick, following Yan Ruyu everywhere. We were so young back then. We had no thoughts of competing with each other at all. We were just simple childhood playmates. Then we started school, and some things started to change. People say school is a mini-society. Yubaiwe really felt that was true, but the ones making comparisons weren't her, nor were they their classmates. It was her parents. Look at your sister Ruyu. She got full marks in all subjects again this time. Look at your sister Ruyu. She won another award this time. Look at your sister Ruyu. She got into... Yubaiwe wasn't actually bad at all. Compared to other people her age, she was more than excellent. But it was like she was living in Yan Ruyu's shadow, always held back and overshadowed by her. She hated Yan Ruyu. She hated her family for always comparing her to Ruyu, and she hated that she couldn't be the best version of herself. Eventually, she got tired of it all. She gave up, left her hometown, moved to a new city, and started slacking off on purpose. The story is very short, and Yubaiwe's tone was very calm when she told it. But the unwillingness hidden in it, and all the heartache she's been through all these years, only she herself knows how much it hurt. What about Qingqing? How do you feel about her? I was still more concerned about her attitude towards my girlfriend. Because Yan Qingqing seemed to really like this aunt of hers. Yubaiwe sounded a little annoyed. You really dote on her a lot, don't you? Of course I do. After all, I'm her boyfriend. Right? That kid is really nice. I like her a lot. It's just that seeing her reminds me of Yan Ruyu, which puts me in a bad mood. So when she was little, you always snuck her snacks, right? You did care about her even back then. I didn't say that out loud, though. That was the main thing I wanted to confirm. Well then, Aunt Yu, you'd better get used to it in advance. Once you get used to it, when Qingqing comes over to my place later, she'll definitely come looking for you a lot. I smiled, saying those annoying words in a very casual tone, looking at my smile. No matter how Yubaiwe looked at it, she could tell I was taking pleasure in her misfortune. He's so punchable. He has such a handsome face. How can he make such an annoying expression? Who are you calling Aunt? Do I look that old? When she said that, she was a little worked up. The Pikachu pattern on her chest even bounced violently. You don't look old at all. But I have to call you the same thing Qingqing does, right? No, you don't. Yubaiwe waved her hand. You can keep calling me Miss Yu. Or you can call me Sister Yu if you want. You can even call me by my first name directly. Just don't call me Aunt Yu. Got it? Seeing how resistant she was to that title, I was a little amused and lost for words for a second. Guess no matter what world you're in, women are always super sensitive about their age. After we finished eating and cleaned everything up, I was getting ready to leave when Yubaiwe stopped me. Yubaiwe hesitated, like she had something very hard to say. She walked on her long, slim legs, went back inside the room. After a while, she came out holding a piece of paper and handed it to me. I took it and looked it over. It was a contract. Wait, are you asking me to be your nanny? What the? I was just about to reflexively refuse when Yubaiwe cut me off. Don't be in such a hurry to say no, okay? Why don't you first see how much I'm willing to pay? After I saw the number on the contract, my eyes immediately went wide. I shook my head and looked again in disbelief. Wait, are you serious? It says here I just need to make breakfast and dinner every day, no work on weekends, and I get 10K a month? I was really tempted. Ever since I started college, I haven't had any source of income. Even though Yan Qingxin always pays when we eat out together. She covers all those costs, but I still need money for daily expenses, right? I can't let her pay for everything. The next day, I woke up half an hour early. Since I took the job from Yu Baiwei, I had to get up half an hour earlier to make her breakfast. At 6:50, 2 simple breakfasts were ready. Only then did I plan to go wake up the still sleeping Yu Baiwei. Knock, knock, knock. I tapped on her bedroom door. Miss Yu, are you awake? Breakfast is ready. I waited for a little while, but there was still no sound from inside. I could have just ignored her, finished my own breakfast and left. But out of a sense of responsibility, I decided to wake her up anyway. The second I pushed the door open, the stuffy air that had built up all night hit me in the face. I walked to the side of the bed, looking at her sleeping posture. The corner of my mouth lifted slightly. This woman really has no sense of security at all, huh? The quilt was completely bunched up like a hug pillow in her arms. Her well-proportioned, soft body was only covered by a loose nightgown. Her long, fair thighs were almost completely exposed. The curled-up, side-lying Yu Baiwei's lips twitched slightly, like she was dreaming about eating something. Miss Yu? Miss Yu? I called out twice, but she didn't react at all. With no other choice, I could only reach out and shake her shoulder gently. Why are you here? The confusion in his tone didn't sound fake at all. Come on, did you forget what we talked about yesterday? Hurry up and get up to wash up. Breakfast is ready. I have to go to class after eating. Okay, he agreed right away verbally. But his body didn't move an inch. He even wiggled his butt and shifted further into the bed. I couldn't help twitching the corner of my mouth. This guy is really something. Oh, fine. I don't even know how to comment on that. Maybe staying in bed is a basic human instinct. I walked to the dining table and sat down, and started eating my portion of breakfast. Yu Baiwei walked into the bathroom. While brushing her teeth, she secretly glanced at me from the corner of her eye. This kid doesn't look embarrassed at all. Same thing yesterday, right? Am I really that old? Lost all my charm? She pinched her still pretty face in the mirror. Her gaze drifted down. Then she glanced at the loose bathrobe that couldn't hide her well-toned curves. Women in this world also love being beautiful. They also like handsome guys with great looks and figures. It's just that the reaction when the two genders see each other's bodies is a little different, that's all. Men get shy when they see a woman's body. While women see a man's body, they will appreciate it or even whistle. After Yu Baiwei finished washing up, I was almost done eating. You guys have a class meeting today, right? She picked up a piece of bacon and put it in her mouth. Yeah, we only have a class meeting today. No classes, Yu Baiwei nodded, with a faint smile on her face. After finishing breakfast, I'll head out first. Yu Baiwei was getting ready for work today, picking out clothes to wear, and some onboarding documents. The thought of what's going to happen soon made the corner of her mouth lift uncontrollably. Little dear classmate, I'm really looking forward to your reaction later. I arrived in front of the faculty building. Yan Qingqing was already there waiting with 2 bags of breakfast. She was wearing a light pink long dress. The necklace I gave her before hung around her smooth neck. Lin Tong was standing next to her, but she was wearing men's clothes today, probably because she's still not used to people seeing her in a dress. That sounds a little weird, but it's true. After seeing me, Yan Qingqing waved with a big smile on her face. Under the envious gazes of many girls around, she walked over to greet me. The 3 of us went to the nearby pavilion. Knowing her as I do, I could easily tell that my girlfriend was already very hungry. She just didn't start eating earlier because she was waiting for me. Oh right, Qingqing, you don't have to bring me breakfast anymore. I can make something myself at home. Why? Yan Qingqing's cheeks were stuffed full, with confusion in her eyes. Of course I couldn't say that Aunt Yu hired me to eat her food for free. After thinking for a second, I said, because I've been studying breakfast recipes lately, I'll make them for you later, okay? Oh, okay. All right then. Hearing her boyfriend say that, Yan Qingqing had a sweet look on her face. Even the steamed bun in her mouth tasted better. Lin Tang had a long face next to them. She never would have thought that she'd have to watch these 2 lovebirds flirt first thing in the morning. If I'd known, I wouldn't have come with Qingqing. I never noticed they were this lovey-dovey usually. What's gotten into them today? After Yan Qingqing finished her breakfast, the 3 of us walked towards the classroom together. We heard two boys sitting in front of us chatting. One said, "Did you hear? Old Lou seems to have something come up, so he's leaving his post temporarily. Then who's our new homeroom teacher?" I heard, "It's a super pretty woman." "What's wrong, babe?" "Nothing. Do you know who our new homeroom teacher is?" "How would I know, Yan Qingqing's expression immediately became extremely weird. I followed her gaze and looked over. My expression also became just as weird as Yan Qingqing's in an instant. Under the quiet gazes of all the students in the classroom, a woman walked in. She wore a neatly ironed, tight-fitting white shirt and a hip-hugging skirt that perfectly showed off her hip curves. She looked like a total cold, stunning female teacher. But that person was actually Yu Baiwei. Yan Qingqing was relatively okay. There was only slightly surprised shock in her eyes. In my eyes, there wasn't just shock. There was also pure disbelief. Is this woman really the same person as that sloppy drunk and terrible cook I met before? It was her first time being a teacher. Yu Baiwei, standing in front of so many people, was also a little flustered, her heart beating fast. But after all, she had great inherent qualities. Even though she'd been out of the loop for a few years, she kept a gentle, kind smile on her face the whole time. As her gaze swept across the room, she spotted us very quickly. That glance didn't mean much to us, but the two boys sitting in front of us couldn't handle it at all.
Did she just look at me? Did she just look at me?
The other boy mocked. "Come on, stop it." She was obviously looking at me. Listening to their conversation, I shook my head helplessly. What you guys are dreaming of is just my daily life. Yan Qingqing leaned close to my ear. "Babe, you're neighbors with Aunt Yu. You really had no idea at all?" "No idea. She's really good at keeping secrets. She probably just wanted to see our shocked reactions." Speaking of this, I suddenly remembered the weird expression Yu Baiwei had after she found out which university I went to, and what it meant. As if she felt my gaze, Yu Baiwei looked over at us again, and she even winked playfully. The meaning was obvious. Surprised, huh? Didn't see that coming? She looked at me again. She looked at me again. I can't take it anymore. I can't take it either. Looking at the two boys in front, completely defeated by a single look, I sighed softly. They obviously don't get out much. Not long after, our class advisor also walked in. She was a kind-faced, middle-aged female teacher. All right. Everyone, quiet down. Quiet, I said. This is your new homeroom teacher, Ms. Yu. Why don't you introduce yourself? Yu Baiwei nodded slightly at her. Hello, everyone. My name is Yu Baiwei. I'm here to replace your teacher, Liu, to be your temporary homeroom teacher. For the next 3 years, if you have any difficulties or questions, you can come to me. After cheers came a use. The class advisor raised her hand again to signal for quiet. Then she started talking about the new semester arrangements and asked a few girls to go move new textbooks. Yan Qingqing was also called to go. She's tall and slim and pretty strong, that's why. Lin Tang didn't go. Everyone knows she's not very feminine. Watching this scene, I couldn't help sighing to myself. Once upon a time, I was also the one who got sent to move things. I never thought that here, I'd actually become a delicate, weak man. It's not bad, though. Who doesn't like taking it easy? I'm packing textbooks. Yan Qingqing leaned over and said, Babe, let's go to your place later, okay? I need to ask Aunt Yu why she hid this from me. Also, you can't call her Ms. Yu anymore. You have to call her Aunt Yu. Okay, Aunt Yu. I smiled bitterly in my heart. I also wanted to call her Aunt Yu, but she wouldn't let me. Besides, she's your boyfriend's boss now. I have to listen to her on this matter. When I was waiting for Yan Qingxin here, someone suddenly tapped my left shoulder from behind. I turned my head left to look. When I turned back around, a streak of brown came into my view. Senior, why are you playing this silly trick too? I smiled a little. Yun Shuyao always has a blank poker face. She comes off as a really serious person, so this kind of mischievous behavior is pretty rare for her. No big deal. What are you doing here? The only expressive part of her face are her eyes. Right now, there was a faint smile in her eyes. I'm waiting for Qingqing to come downstairs. Then we'll go back to my rented apartment together. After hearing what I said, the light in Yun Shuyao's eyes dimmed a little. Oh, I see. All right then. I won't disturb you two lovebirds then, Junior. Bye, Senior? Yun Shuyao waved her hand. But when she reached the dorm entrance, Yan Qingxin just happened to be walking out too. They ran straight into each other. Just a moment ago, the senior who knows all my secrets met my girlfriend face to face. The senior even wore a really meaningful smile. After that, my girl, Friend dragged me to go find her aunt. She wasn't at home. She's probably still at school handling her new job onboarding procedures. So my girlfriend took me to watch a movie instead, to kill the rest of the afternoon. There were only 4 people in the theater, including the 2 of us. The other pair were 2 women. I was so bored I was practically dozing off. But Yan Qingxin seemed really into the movie, especially the part where the heroine kabadons the hero against the wall and kisses him forcefully. I could clearly feel her breathing getting faster. A suppressed gasp suddenly jolted me awake. I was completely alert in an instant. What's going on? I instinctively turned to look at Yan Qingxin. I saw her pointing at the 2 women over there. I raised an eyebrow, thinking, no way, even if there are barely any people here, this is still a public place. That's so inappropriate, right? I'd just finished judging them in my head when I noticed my girlfriend next to me looking at me, with a really weird glint in her eyes, too. Qingxin, you don't mean to... In the dimly lit theater, the light from the screen illuminated half of Yan Qingxin's beautiful blushing face. The other half was hidden in the shadows, but I knew the other half was just as flushed. There was a clear hint of heat in her eyes. Her glossy red lips slowly inched closer to me. I was just about to instinctively lean back when Yan Qingxin did exactly what happened in the movie. She reached her hand behind my head and stopped me from moving away. I don't know what the love in movies tastes like, but the connection between Yan Qingxin and I probably tastes like sweet popcorn. Don't move, baby. Let me take the lead. Her voice was as gentle as always. The last time I heard similar words in a place like this, they were harsh and left no room for refusal. Don't move, don't make a sound. Oh right, come here. Bite on this and you won't make any noise. Humph, in a daze. I thought I saw traces of Yan Ruyu and Yan Qingxin. Should I say you 2 really are witches? You don't look alike at all. But your hobbies are exactly the same. I didn't plan on doing this at first, but I slowly felt my body getting a little overheated. I was just complaining about those 2 women having no sense of propriety. I didn't expect it to be my turn so soon. Yan Qingxin seemed to have thought of that too. She nibbled gently on my ear. Baby, tell me, do you think those 2 over there have noticed we're doing the same thing as them? Her voice was trembling a little when she said that. So you can imagine how exciting this first public experience was for her. I grabbed her hand, lacing our fingers together. I suddenly wanted to tease her. What? You want them to find out and join us? I thought she'd get mad and object immediately, but she suddenly went silent instead. Then she trembled violently. That reaction caught me completely off guard. I couldn't help but twitch the corner of my mouth. Wait, don't tell me this girl has some special kinks too. But soon enough, Yan Qingxin bit down hard on my neck, which chased that thought right out of my head. It hurt so bad I sucked in a sharp breath. She seemed to realize she bit too hard, so she licked the spot gently, looking a little guilty. Then she said in a tone I'd never heard before, Baby, if you say stuff like that again, it won't end this nicely. You're mine, only mine. I couldn't see her expression clearly, but I could tell she was really angry. Admittedly, that kind of line is super offensive no matter what. I'm sorry, Qingxin. I shouldn't have said that. Yan Qingxin didn't say anything. She only responded with her actions. I don't know if it's just my imagination, but Yan Qingxin seemed to take extra long today. But Yan Qingxin was still the first to give in. We cleaned up a little. The movie wasn't over yet, but we left anyway. Did you enjoy the movie, baby? Yan Qingxin looked totally refreshed. Her cheeks flushed bright pink. You're asking that on purpose, aren't you? You were blocking my view the whole time. What do you think I could even see? It was fun, right? Let's come again next time, okay? You're getting addicted to this, aren't you? Hiss, I moved my neck a little, and a sharp, stinging pain hit me. Yan Qingxin immediately leaned over to check it when she saw that. It was too dark inside the theater earlier. She didn't notice how bad the mark was,
She only got a clear look after we came outside.
and looked really apologetic. I'm sorry. I bit too hard, baby. I pinched her cheek gently. It's okay. Is it bleeding? No, it's not bleeding. The mark is just a little dark. Then it's fine. A confused look suddenly appeared on Yan Qingxin's face. What's wrong? I asked. Nothing. It's just that you never seem to get angry, baby. Oh, I don't? No, but isn't that a good thing? It means you never make me mad, Qingxin. Oh, right. I'm that good, huh? Yan Qingxin broke into a smile again. It's her occasional childish side that makes me treat her like a little sister. Who wouldn't like their own little sister? No one, probably. We went back to my place, and my Aunt Yu Baiwei came back not long after. Qingqing Lu Jiao, did you two wait long? No, not at all. By the way, Aunt Yu, why didn't you tell me you became our college counselor? You're even our class's counselor. I wanted to give you two a surprise. When dinner time came, Yu Baiwei suggested we eat at her place. Since she'd just bought a lot of ingredients, she also brought snacks for Yan Qingqing. Aunt Yu, you haven't tried Lu Jiao's cooking yet, right? How about letting him cook tonight? He's a really amazing cook. She wasn't trying to dump the work on me on purpose. She was just showing off that she found a boyfriend who's not only handsome, but also knows how to cook. Yu Baiwei and I both felt our hearts sink at the same time. We exchanged a subtle look, both feeling a sudden, unexplainable guilt for lying. Sure, let Miss Yu try my cooking. You two just wait here, I said as I walked into the kitchen. My way of addressing her made Yan Qingqing a little confused. Aunt Yu, why did he call you Miss Yu? Yu Baiwei sat on the sofa, stretching her delicate feet wrapped in black stockings. I've been standing for such a long time today. I told him to call me that. Calling me Aunt Yu makes me sound so old. But fine, whatever. So I can't call you that either? Yan Qingqing didn't see any problem with it at all, noticing how serious she looked about this. Yu Baiwei said with a smile, No need. Qingqing, you can call me whatever you want. Come here. Auntie bought you your favorite snacks. Okay, Why is there so much alcohol here? Yu Baiwei took out all the beers. Put them in the fridge. For drinking, obviously. But you're still too young. You can't drink any for now. Yan Qingqing pouted. Who says that? I'm already a college student. Tonight I'll drink my fill with Aunt Yu. My hand twitched as I was prepping ingredients in the kitchen. I suddenly had a bad feeling. I've never seen Yan Qingqing drink before. I hope this girl doesn't drink too much. If I end up with two drunk people later. Can I even carry both of them? About an hour later, the extra-large dinner was ready. The two women came over to help. Carry the dishes and get the bowls and chopsticks. The three of us sat down at the table. Can I start eating now? Staring at the table full of dishes. Yan Qingqing was already secretly swallowing her saliva. Such a total foodie. Yu Baiwei and I exchanged a glance. We both thought the same thing in our heads. Go ahead, eat. No one's gonna fight you for it. Yu Baiwei had just taken a few bites, when she suddenly put down her chopsticks. Oh right, I knew something was missing. She stood up and took the pre-chilled beers from the fridge. With such great food. How can we not have alcohol? She popped the tab of the can, took a huge gulp of it. I watched as she downed that mouthful of beer. Her whole vibe changed instantly. My eyelid twitched. Is it really that magical? Oh no, I suddenly remembered what the two of them said earlier. She turned to look at Yan Qingqing. Sure enough, this girl already opened her can too, and was just about to take a sip. It was already too late to stop her. Just as I'd guessed earlier. Yan Qingqing, who'd never drunk alcohol before, got drunk really fast. Her pretty face was all flushed from the alcohol, one hand resting on my shoulder. She was rambling nonsense the whole time. See, Aunt Yu? I told you Bao Bao's cooking is amazing, right? Come on, have some more. This girl is definitely wasted. She's spilling everything out. She even used the pet name we use when we're alone together, meeting Yu Baiwei's half-smiling gaze. I silently lowered my head and kept eating. Yu Baiwei was also a little tipsy by now. Not as far gone as Yan Qingqing, though. But there was also a faint flush on her face. Bao Bao, huh? That's such an affectionate name. Qingqing slurred. Of course it is. I love my Bao Bao the most. I'm gonna marry her, I am. Before she could even finish her sentence. Thud! Her head slammed down onto the table. I shook her shoulder, and found she was completely passed out. Hey, Miss Yu. Qingqing is probably drinking for the first time. Why did you even try to outdrink her? There's no way she could beat you at drinking. Yu Baiwei sat cross-legged on her chair, elbow propped on the table, chin resting in her hand. She looked at me with hazy eyes. I wasn't trying to outdrink her, okay? This girl insisted on drinking, said she could keep up. She's all grown up anyway. A little drinking won't hurt her. What, you feel bad for her? At the end of her sentence. She even pouted her red lips, like she was really annoyed about it. It's not that I feel bad for her. Fine, maybe a little. Then you should stop drinking too, okay? Help me take her home later. I can't carry her by myself. Yu Baiwei finished the last of her beer in her hand. All right, fine, I'll stop drinking. Why take her home? She can sleep at my place tonight, and you can come over to make breakfast tomorrow morning. That gives you an excuse to come over, right? I thought about it for a second. That makes sense. Okay then. After we finished eating, Yu Baiwei offered to help me clear the table. But I saw she was walking a little unsteadily. I hurried to tell her to sit down, said I could handle it myself. When I finished cleaning everything up, I walked out of the kitchen. I saw the state the two of them were in. I was instantly speechless. Yan Qingjin was still passed out on the table, but Yu Baiwei, who promised to help me carry her, had also flopped down on the sofa and was fast asleep, snoring away. I had no choice but to do it myself, after putting in a ridiculous amount of effort. I finally managed to carry Yan Qingxin into the bedroom, dropped her on the bed. Wait, that's not right. Qingxin, what are you doing? Don't pull me. I can't stay here. As it turns out, whether Yan Qingxin is awake or drunk, she can always mess me around however she wants, as everyone knows. Everything you experience in dreams is fake, except for two things. One is needing to use the bathroom. The other one, if you know, summers are really hot. And if you're in a room with the doors and windows all closed, and 3 people are squished onto the same bed, it gets even hotter than you can imagine. Wait, 3 people? Where did the third person come from? I was already soaked in sweat. I tried my best to use the physical sensations I was feeling to figure out how many people were around me. On my left side, a woman was holding me tight in her arms. I guess this was Yan Qingqing. Then what about the person on my right? Who was the one pressing my arm into that soft curve? I carefully turned my head to the right to look. That look almost scared me to death. What are you doing here? And where's your armor? Yu Baiwei was holding me, one arm pressed tight against my face, her head resting on my shoulder. Sound asleep. I tried hard to remember what happened last night. Both of them got drunk. I barely managed to carry Qingqing into the bedroom. Then this stupidly strong girl grabbed me in a hug, wouldn't let go, and I fell asleep without realizing it. But when did this lady get here? I was about to scratch my head out of habit. As soon as I moved my right arm, the soft elastic fabric rubbed against me. Yu Baiwei let out a soft whimper. I was so scared I froze immediately, not daring to move again. The hotel room was really dark back then, but right now the streetlight outside was illuminating this room, so I could actually make out people's faces in the room. You closed all the windows. Why didn't you draw the curtains? I complained helplessly in my head. Yu Baiwei had gotten up to go to the bathroom just now. Half asleep, she subconsciously went back to her own room and took off her armor because it was too hot. Then, she saw the couple on the bed hugging each other. You two are so sweet together. Let Auntie get some of your good luck too. That's how you know she was really drunk. If she was sober, she definitely would have left right away. But in her dazed, drunk state, she somehow ended up lying down on my other side like it was the most natural thing in the world, propped her face up on one hand, looked at Yan Qingxin's happy, sleeping face. Yu Baiwei poked her little cheek. I'm so jealous of you. Qingxin found such a great boyfriend. Then she turned her gaze to my face. He's handsome, and his cooking is amazing. Smart and kind, too. And most importantly, he treats Qingxin really well. Why can't I find someone like that? She slowly leaned closer to my exposed neck. It smells so nice and fresh. The scent coming off my body made her even more drowsy and relaxed. Her entire body unconsciously leans even closer. Just for a moment. Just a tiny little moment. Just let me lean on you for a little while, that's all. It sounded like a soft murmur from a dream. Came out from between her lips. At first, she only gently pressed her forehead against my shoulder. Then she fell asleep too. Her unconscious body followed its instincts and tightly hugged my arm, pressing herself right up against me. I can't figure it out no matter how hard I rack my brains. Was it the scene of me hugging Yan Qingxin that triggered Yu Baiwei? That's why. She also wanted to get a taste of what a man smells like. If I'd known this would happen earlier, I would have pushed Yan Qingxin away no matter what. What do I even make of this situation right now? How am I supposed to handle this? If Yan Qingxin wakes up now and sees her favorite aunt so blatantly taking advantage of her own boyfriend, my head starts throbbing just thinking about this. If I yank myself free forcefully, I will definitely wake one of them up. Worse, I might wake both of them. That'll be even more awkward. The best option is to wake Yu Baiwei up. Ask her to go out first, or help me get Yan Qingxin to let me go. Yeah, that's the plan. But both my hands are held down tight. How am I supposed to wake her? Looking at Yu Baiwei's sleeping face right now, I hardened my resolve. I've already touched all the things I should and shouldn't have touched anyway. This little bit won't make a difference. I slowly moved my head closer and called softly. Miss Yu, wake up. Stop sleeping. I moved my right hand at the same time. Finally, after my persistent efforts, Yu Baiwei finally opened her eyes a crack. But, Things didn't seem to be going the way I expected. Why are you on my bed? I must be dreaming. Let me sleep a little more. Yubaiwei mumbled and tried to close her eyes again. I was so anxious at this point. Dreaming? You still want to sleep? You're not dreaming. Look at what's going on right now. Looking at my face so close to hers. Yubaiwei suddenly laughed. What's up? You're so close to me, kiddo. If you want a kiss, that's okay. But stop making trouble after you kiss me, okay? No messing around even in dreams. Just sleep well. I was speechless for a second. I just opened my mouth to say something, when a pair of soft red lips pressed against mine, cutting me off. Wait, no! How can you be so bold, woman? And what do you mean I'm the one who's close to you? And let me say this again. This is not a dream. My eyes went wide. Looking at her now free arm, I didn't know where to push her for a second. Because there wasn't a single part of this woman in front of me that I could bring myself to touch right now. That's how I missed the best chance to wake her up properly. My arms were pinned down again. Yubaiwei closed her eyes and fell asleep again. What even is this? I woke her up, only to end up humiliating myself like this. I fell deep in thought. When I turned my head to look at Yan Qingqing, her beautiful eyes were already open. I almost died of fright. All the hair on my body stood on end instantly. All my muscles tensed up immediately. In this sweltering environment, I felt like I was plunged into an ice cave. The cold went straight from the top of my head to the soles of my feet. Q Qingqing, you're awake? A whole minute, 60 full seconds. I didn't move an inch after I asked that question. I didn't even blink once. I counted silently in my head. Every second felt like an hour. But after that long, it was enough time for my blank brain to catch up. What's wrong with her? She's not saying anything, just staring straight at me like that. Suddenly a terrible thought crossed my mind. Could this girl have been so shocked that she lost her mind? At the thought of that, I was suddenly filled with fear and panic. I was just about to speak anxiously when Yan Qingqing sat up abruptly. That gave me another fright. I pressed my now freed left hand to my heart. I was gasping for air, my face full of lingering fear. My poor heart. You two are going to give me a heart attack sooner or later. Bathroom, bathroom. Yan Qingqing mumbled to herself and stumbled unsteadily out of bed. It only hit me then. This girl must have woken up because she needed to pee, but she was still half asleep. Her eyes were open, but her brain hadn't booted up yet. But for such a small thing, her brain actually took a whole minute to process it. I looked at her back with a confused look on my face. My expression immediately turned to one of total surprise. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Surprise aside, how could I let such a God-given opportunity slip away? I quickly grabbed Yubaiwei's shoulders and shook her hard. Miss Yu, Miss Yu. Wake up, please. Stop sleeping, let go of my hand already. But this woman had woken up just now, and she was holding me even tighter after that little incident. Almost half her body was pressed against me. What are you making a fuss about now? Can't you let a person sleep? Don't you have to go to work tomorrow? The hard shaking actually worked after all. This time, Yubaiwei didn't act like she did last time, thinking she was still dreaming. She forced her eyes open and saw my face. What are you doing here? You're here to bother me again, huh? The corner of my mouth twitched. Miss Yu, could you please let go of me first? Let go? Only then did Yubaiwei realize the position they were hugging in, or more strictly speaking, more accurately, she was the one holding me tight. Her fair skin was turning red at a speed visible to the naked eye. If you looked at her under the light, the only difference between her and a steam engine right now was probably that she wasn't steaming yet. She was about to say something, but I spoke first. Miss Yu, this is a misunderstanding. Don't overthink it, and don't mention it again in the future. I'll leave first. I left the place almost at a run. Yubaiwei stared blankly at the ceiling. It took her a long while to remember what had happened, including what she did when she woke up. All groggy earlier, she held her head and banged it against the pillow repeatedly. Oh my god, what did I just do? This Aunt Yu? What are you doing? Yubaiwei froze instantly when she heard that voice. She turned her stiff neck to look at Yan Qingqing. Nothing, I just have a headache. She forced a smile. What's wrong? Yan Qingqing immediately sat down next to her. Her concern was obvious on her face. Seeing how much she cared about her, Yubaiwei felt even more awkward and guilty. But she could only force a smile. It's nothing, really. I probably drank too much tonight. Oh, right, babe. Lucho has painkillers. I'll go get some for you, okay? Yubaiwei probably realized she was overreacting a bit, and said immediately, I think she's probably asleep already. I'm fine. I'm used to it. Go back to sleep. You have class tomorrow, and I have to go to work. Okay then. Yan Qingxin walked to the other side, and naturally moved close to Yu Baiwei. She leaned against her shoulder and lay down. Aunt Yu, how long has it been since we slept together like this? Listening to her innocent words, Yu Baiwei breathed out softly. It's been almost 10 years, hasn't it? Yeah, 10 years. It's been 10 years since we last saw each other, hasn't it? I've really missed you a lot. Who would have thought, thanks to Lu Zhao, I get to see you again. It's so great, really. That's what Yu Baiwei said out loud. But deep down, she felt guilty towards Yan Qingqing. Wondering if she had let her down, she figured she probably had. The next day, inside the medical school building, Professor May, these are the materials for your upcoming class. Miss Yu wore a rare faint smile and took the materials from her hands. Shu Yao, how was your holiday? It was okay, everything went as usual. Maitsu wasn't surprised by her answer. In fact, if she had said anything else, that would have been weird. Oh, right. I asked you before if you'd be interested in getting a boyfriend. Are you open to that? Hearing this, Yun Shuiyao raised her pretty eyebrows slightly and looked away. No, Professor May, why are you suddenly concerned about this? Ugh, it's all that girl Qingxin's fault. She really thinks that guy Lu Zhao is some hot catch that everyone wants a piece of. Maisie adjusted her glasses. It's nothing, I just think that for your condition, having a boyfriend who cares for and dotes on you might help. Care for and dote on me? Yun Shuiyao subconsciously thought of my face, that boy who seemed to glow under the sunlight. The first class after a holiday is always the hardest to get through. For both teachers and students, everyone is totally distracted. So neither side was very engaged during the morning classes. Soon it was noon. When I went to the cafeteria to look for a seat, I saw Yu Baiwei sitting there eating alone. She looked so at ease. So Yan Qingxin and the others wanted to share the table with her. Yu Baiwei was still wearing the same business suit from yesterday. She didn't think much of it yesterday, but now she felt oddly flustered. After all, what happened last night was awkward. All morning, she deliberately avoided running into Yan Qingxin. Who would have thought they'd run into each other at the cafeteria? Seeing how nervous Miss Yu looked, I knew she still felt awkward. I didn't call her out on it. I smiled and asked, "What do you feel like eating tonight?" Yu Baiwei stared straight at my face. She suddenly realized she'd probably been overthinking. He didn't care about what happened at all. Right. Why would he be interested in someone old enough to be his aunt? She quickly hid the faint disappointment in her heart. Yu Baiwei said, "I won't be going back tonight. I have to stay on campus for the first few days of the semester. I won't be able to go home until next week." I nodded, then said, "Oh, right. Are you working as a student counselor now? It's really busy these first few days of school." The two of us chatted for a while. Yan Qingxian and Lin Kang came back with their meals. After we finished eating, the three of us found a place to rest for a bit. Soon it was time for afternoon classes. I got home after school in the evening. It was just past 4 p.m. I was a little torn right then. Should I go buy groceries? Would it be rude to go use her kitchen to cook when she's not home? That doesn't feel quite right. Just as I was about to head out, I got a message from Yu Baiwei. "You probably don't have any food at home, right? Go cook at my place. I can't go back these days anyway. The ingredients will go bad if they sit there too long." She's such a sweetheart. So I went next door and started making dinner for myself. I just finished cooking and set the food on the table when someone knocked on the door. I was confused. Yu Baiwei didn't mention anyone would come over. I walked to the door and looked through the peephole. The person outside totally caught me off guard. When the woman outside saw it was me opening the door, she looked just as shocked. "Why are you here?" The woman covered her open mouth with one hand and said in disbelief, "Don't tell me your girlfriend is Sister Yu?" Sometimes I can't help but sigh. The world is really small. It's just like how you never know if tomorrow or an accident will come first. Zhao Rong's reaction was a little unexpected, but not by much. I twitched my mouth and got her a pair of slippers. "Come on in, Sister Rong. Let's sit and talk." "Have you eaten yet?" "Not yet." Seeing how casual I was, treating her like a regular guest, Zhao Rong was even more convinced of her earlier assumption. Looking at the food on the table, Zhao Rong looked a little surprised. She didn't expect I could cook this well. I took another set of chopsticks and a bowl from the kitchen and set them in front of Zhao Rong. I sat down across from her and asked, "Sister Rong, you know Miss Yu?" "Yeah, we're old friends. I brought my niece here to enroll." so I dropped by to see her. She tucked the hair by her cheek behind her ear, picked up the chopsticks and took a bite. She nodded and said, "Not bad. I didn't know you were such a good cook." "Thank you. So, aren't you going to answer my earlier question?" Zhaorong's gaze carried a faint sense of pressure. The only reason she didn't dislike me was that she thought this guy had nothing to do with anyone she was close to. But now, I was probably Yu Baiwei's boyfriend. So she had to get to the bottom of this. I smiled slightly. I knew exactly what she was implying. "I think, Sister Rong, you've got the wrong idea. I live next door. Miss Yu hired me to cook for her, but she has to stay on campus lately and can't come home, so she said I can come over to her place to cook for myself." "I see." Zhaorong lowered her eyes. She didn't think I'd lie to her. After all, she could just ask Yu Baiwei about it later and find out the truth. "I hope you don't mind my attitude earlier. I just met another sleazy guy before, so yeah, I get it. Actually, I really like your personality, Sister Rong. It's easy to get along with you. You say what's on your mind." "That's really nice, I meant that. Who wouldn't want to be friends with someone who's straightforward and easygoing? You're really different from others. You're the first guy who's ever appreciated my personality, little brother Lu." A faint smile tugged at the corner of Zhaorong's lips. Actually, it wasn't just me who felt that way. She felt the same too. Because of her work, she meets a lot of men, but all of them are timid around her. They don't even dare to look her in the eye. That always bored her to death. My natural, easygoing attitude also made her take a liking to me. She took out a cigarette and was about to light it when she suddenly stopped. "Do you mind?" This was the first time she ever asked someone if they minded her smoking. I knew right then that up until this moment, this woman had finally started to take me seriously. "No, I don't mind. Oh, right. Sister Rong, I think I should mention this to you first. Though Zhaorong didn't seem like the type to gossip." What is it?" "It's just, well..." Seeing how hesitant I was, Zhaorong knew exactly what I was going to say. She smiled and shook her head, asking, "You want me to keep your past a secret?" I coughed lightly and nodded. "Yeah, of course I will. I have professional ethics, you know? I never do things like blackmail or take bribes." I scratched the back of my head. I'd been overthinking it. All right. Eat up. Your cooking is really good. Sister Yu is really lucky to have hired you, saves her so much trouble. The food she cooks? I still remember how terrible her cooking was back in the day." Zhaorong trembled all over. The two chatted while eating. I got it too. How these two women got to know each other. Talk about an incredible coincidence. They were high school classmates, and they were the classic pair of top student and underachiever. But what surprised me was, the top student turned out to be Zhaorong, and the underachiever was Yu Baiwei. A look of reminiscence flashed in Zhaorong's eyes. Even though Sister Yu was an underachiever grade-wise, I know she was just faking it. She's actually really capable. I just don't know why. She acts like she doesn't care about anything. I cleaned up the dishes and chopsticks. I said goodbye and went back to my place. But I never expected that Zhaorong's good intentions would backfire next and leave me with a pretty huge trouble. "Sister Yu, I'm at your place." "Why are you there?" "I'm not home right now." "I know, I opened the door myself." "Did you see him? Is he okay?" Yu Baiwei, who was sitting in the office, sat up straight instantly. She wasn't worried that Zhaorong would do anything to me, because her good friend didn't seem to like men. She was afraid she would scare me. Am I some kind of monster? He's fine. We even had dinner together. His cooking is really good. Hearing that, Yu Baiwei slumped back into her chair again. She wanted to go home too, but she had to be on duty for the next few days. Can't go back, this is so exhausting. Zhaorong thought for a moment and decided that she still needed to give Yu Baiwei a little reminder. It's good for everyone. Sister Yu, you'd better keep your distance from Lu Zhao. What do you mean? Exactly what it sounds like. His relationship with Yan Ruyu isn't simple. You two better not cross any lines. Zhaorong might trust me, but she doesn't trust men. Especially good-looking men. Yu Baiwei couldn't figure it out no matter how hard she thought. My relationship with Yan Ruyu isn't simple? Isn't that obvious enough? Do you need to remind me of that specifically? Wait, Zhaorong, do you know who Lu Zhao's girlfriend is? No, I don't. I'm not interested, I didn't ask. She knew nothing about all these questions, which fit exactly what Yu Baiwei knew about Zhaorong. Just like Zhaorong said, Yu Baiwei is the kind of low-key top student who keeps a low profile. As long as she uses her brain, there's barely anything she can't figure out. A bold guess popped into Yu Baiwei's head. I've been to Zhaorong's place, And I met Yan Ruyu there too. She gripped the edge of her phone tightly, her fingertips turning slightly white. If that's really the case, then she can only say how absurd this whole thing is. Okay, Xiaolong, I got it. Looking at Yu Baiwei's reply, Zhao Rong smiled reassuringly. That's more like it. It's best to keep things harmonious. It would be so ugly if things get chaotic. Be elegant. She took a deep drag from the cigarette held between her slender fingers, then exhaled a smoke ring slowly. Babe, are you nervous? I turned to look at Yan Qingxin. Judging from the way her chest was rising and falling pretty heavily, and her little mouth kept opening and closing, she was the one who was nervous. I'm not nervous. But why do you look like you're more nervous than me? After the morning classes ended, we had lunch, and the two of us went to Longyu Group for the interview together. Originally, I said I could go alone, but Yan Qingxin insisted on coming with me. The two of us walked out of the building. Yan Qingxin looked overjoyed. Babe, I didn't expect it to go so smoothly. I tugged at the corner of my mouth. Yeah, it's a little too smooth. Of course, my babe is so excellent. Everyone would definitely fight to hire you. Really can't understand this silly girl's way of thinking. Unlike my speechlessness, Yan Qingxian just wanted to tell her mom this good news as soon as possible. This good news. It was indeed good news, especially for Yan Ruyu. At the headquarters of Fengcheng Longyu Group, Yan Ruyu, who was going through reports, was drawn to the lit-up phone next to her. It was a message from Yan Qingxin. When it came to her daughter, she still felt a little guilty in her heart, but that little bit of guilt always disappeared as soon as she saw me, replaced by envy and jealousy. Mom, I have good news for you. Good news? What good news could you have? It's probably about that kid again, right? Let's hear it. I got Lu Zhao a job as an employee at our company. Yan Ruyu's beautiful eyes widened slightly, an incredulous look on her face. She knew every single one of these words separately, but when they were put together, she couldn't understand what they meant. But after she heard the whole story, she started to worry instead. Hey, Xing, isn't this kind of tricking him? Won't he be angry if he finds out later? That's exactly what Yan Ruyu was worried about. If Lu Zhao finds out he was tricked later, will he accept it silently or reject it angrily? She thought either was possible. This was the first time Yan Ruyu couldn't figure out what someone was thinking, especially a man's thoughts. Oh, no way that'll happen. I know him. He'll just throw a little tantrum at most. I can just coax him and it'll be fine. You know him? You can coax him and it'll be fine? Yeah, that's usually how it works. What right do I have to be upset anyway? She put down her phone. Yan Ruyu closed her eyes and leaned back in her chair. At this moment, she felt like she'd lost all her strength. She stared blankly at the ceiling she'd looked at countless times. I'm really such a failure. I have no clue about any of this. Yan Qingxian was still feeling pleased with herself. She was in a good mood, so she had a good appetite too. Lin Chang, let's go eat. I went home and took a shower. When I came out, I saw a message from Yan Qingxian. It was a picture. It showed the restaurant and a selfie of the two of them. There was also a message attached below. Babe, are you coming? I thought for a moment and decided not to go. Maintaining a good relationship with roommates is also very important. It's rare free time. I really don't know what to do. Seeing that it was almost dinner time, I got up and went next door to see if Zhao Rong was still there. I knocked on the door first. There was no sound from inside. After I opened the door and went in, I found someone sitting on the sofa. I even got a fright. After I realized it was Yu Baiwei, I felt a little helpless.
Hey, Miss Yu.
You're home. Why didn't you respond when I knocked? Also, why did you come back today? Yu Baiwei turned to look at me. There was some indescribable, complicated emotion in her eyes. I frowned slightly. I looked confused. Miss Yu, what's wrong with you exactly? She lowered her head, her loose long hair covering her face. After a long while, a dejected voice came. I might be getting married. I blinked. I didn't understand why she suddenly said that all at once. Besides, getting married is getting married. It's totally normal, right? Isn't that supposed to be a good thing? Why do you look so unhappy? Yu Baiwei turned her head sharply. Her flowing hair brushed past my lips. I don't want to get married. Besides, the man my family arranged for me. I don't like him at all. I get it. It's a loveless arranged family marriage, right? This kind of thing really sucks. Then just talk it out nicely with your family, yeah? If you don't like it, just find another one, right? Yu Baiwei's face clouded over. There was something in her gaze at me that I found kind of familiar. Help me.